It is a gorgeous and beautiful sunny Saturday afternoon in upstate New York for the running of today's Shriners Children's 200 at the Watkins Glen International for the final road course race of the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It is the fourth to last race in the regular season, as well as they head to the 7-turn, 2.5-mile road course layout. In today's race, we've got some Cup Series regulars, as we've had for most of the season on these road course races. Four of them will try to go for the weekend sweep. Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, and Ross Chastain. We'll see if one of those guys will win. We'll see if one of the Xfinity Series regulars will win. Maybe a new winner to lock themselves into the playoffs, or a potential repeat winner, or those, of course, competing for the regular season championship. We'll go through the starting lineup for today's race in a matter of moments, but first we want to take you trackside for today's pre-race invocations with the national anthem, and then, of course, the command soon after.
These guys get up to full song, and then it all begins.
Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman in the field today. Those Xfinity Series drivers are going to learn where they stand pretty quick, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Those guys will no doubt be very fast to watch, and Austin Hill trying to hold on to the regular season points lead as well. Beautiful day here at Watkins Glen. Time for today's pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as you are able and remove your hats as New York State Police Troop E Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome Reverend David Fife.
Thank you, O God, for the great weather you provided for this year's running of the Shriners Children's 200 at the Glen. We ask your blessing upon this race, Lord, with your hand of protection upon each driver, course worker, and crew member. Grant us a safe race and help us to remember that all good things come from you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform the Canadian National Anthem and our nation's Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome local performing artist Anna Hurt, accompanied by American Sign Language interpreter Rebecca Kausha.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red lamps bursting in air gave proof through
Now it is time to go through today's starting lineup for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Shriners Children's 200 at Watkins Glen. Last week's Xfinity Series race winner Ty Gibbs coming down for another Cup Series event after winning at Indy a week ago. Going to start on the pole here this weekend at Watkins Glen, and Alex Bowman, making one of his couple starts in the Xfinity Series this season, will be on the outside row of row 1. It'll be Justin Allgaier and Cole Custer in row number 2. Allgaier's led a lot of laps on road course, but has not won a one this season, and Cole Custer with 2 road course wins in 2023. Sam Mayer and Daniel Hemrick will be in row 3. Hemrick, a road course winner this year at Road America last month. Josh Berry and Kyle Busch will be in row 4. Busch in the 10 car, his 5th and final start in the Xfinity Series this season, was able to start this race car today due to not running the Charlotte race he was originally scheduled to run this year because of that race getting postponed to Monday. As for Sammy Smith, he'll be on the inside of row 5, had a top 3 last year's race here, and Riley Herbst will start to his outside in that top 10 spot. Austin Hill, Jonathan Nemechek, the 2 drivers battling for the regular season points championship, will be in row 6. Sheldon Creed, Parker Kligerman in row 7. Kligerman has been great on the road courses this year. Same for Creed, both on the bubble into the race today for the Xfinity Series playoffs. We'll see if one of those 2 can have a solid day, maybe even both of them. Kaz Gralla and Jeremy Clements will be in row number 8. Row 9, Ross Chastain and Chandler Smith. Connor Mosack and former Truck Series champion Brett Moffitt will be in row number 10. Row number 11, Sage Karam and Alex LeBay. Karam had a top 5 at Road America last month as well. Stephen Parsons and Brandon Jones starting deeper in the field back in row 12. Row 13 will be the Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolet of Jeb Burton. Ryan Sieg to his outside. Anthony Alfredo and Josh Bilicki will be in row 14. Row 15, Parker Retzlaff and Blaine Perkins. Max McLaughlin and Brennan Poole will be in row 16. Kyle Weatherman and Josh Williams in row 17. Ryan Ellis, Joe Graff Jr. row 18. And rounding out the 38-car field today in row 19 will be Kyle Sieg and Stanton Barrett. As for the point standings coming into today's race, it'll be the 23rd race of 26 in the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Austin Hill is your points leader by just 11 points over John Hunter Nemechek. Justin Allgaier slowly closing that gap down as he's only 34 points out of first, also in the hunt for the regular season title with 4 races to go. Cole Custer is 112 points out, so almost 2 full races. More than likely, it looks like he is going to be locked into a 4th place finish as he has nearly a full race over Josh Berry and points behind him. As for the drivers locked into the playoffs for the Xfinity Series with a win, Austin Hill has 4 as he leads the points today. John Hunter Nemechek with the most wins this Xfinity Series season with 5. 2 wins for Cole Custer, both on road races at Chicago and Portland. And then we have multiple drivers with 1 win this season, which would include Sammy Smith, Chandler Smith, Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, and Jeb Burton. There are 4 spots remaining for the Xfinity Series playoff field on points coming into the race today. Josh Berry is 114 points to the good coming into this one and is almost 2 full races ahead, looking pretty comfortable that he should be able to get in. Daniel Hemrick is plus 50 points. He has been very good as of the last couple of weeks. He's been able to push himself a lot further ahead of the cutoff line. He was actually below the cutoff line about midway through the regular season. Riley Herbst, who was leading in points in the very beginning of the year, those first handful of races, has really fallen off the face of the earth, but still above the cutoff line at plus 34. He still has work to do if he's going to want to get in, especially with the drivers behind him in points being very good on road courses, as that would be Sheldon Creed and Parker Kligerman. Creed is above the cutoff line as he is the last driver above, currently 10th in the regular season standings, but only plus 17 points, and Parker Kligerman is minus 17 points behind Sheldon Creed. Brandon Jones is minus 65 points, not quite in a must-win situation yet, but considering the speed that team has had pretty much all year, probably going to be in a must-win situation with 4 races to go, unless they can get a lot of stage points and a lot of race finishing points over the next several weeks. So we will have a pretty solid day today. This is one of the longer Xfinity Series races of the season, 82 laps. It's only 8 laps short of what tomorrow's Cup Series race at Watkins Glen will be. There will be no stage breaks coming up in this race, with this being a road course at the same racetrack that the Cup Series is racing on this weekend as well. So it is going to be an interesting one to say the least here today. I think it's going to be a fun race because this is personally my favorite road course. And always has been ever since I was a kid. If I always picked between Watkins Glen or Sonoma when there was only 2 on the schedule, I always picked Watkins Glen. A lot faster, maybe not as technical as Sonoma, but it is really fast. lot of dangerous corners, but a lot of passing opportunities to be had. And I think we're going to see quite a bit of good racing today. Terry Lewis, Robert Goodrich, NASCAR Vintage 17, Joanne C., Frank Powers, Patty and Rumdy Creations, Billy Kramer, Big E, Esteban Tobar Souza, Go X, Mike George, Patrick Soto, and other. Welcome to the stream. I'll get a poll up in the chat for who you think will win today's race. While that goes on, you'll get to listen to the command to fire engines.
On behalf of the 1.5 million Shrine patients treated at our Shrine hospitals, we want to thank you for being here today at the Shriners Children's 200 at the Glen. And today we have our patients here, Wyatt and Ruger. Give them those famous words.
Driver, start your engine!
Fired up when you're ready, bro. Fired up when you're ready. All right, fire when you're ready, bro. Well, we've talked so much about points battles today. Two of the points battles are right here in front of us, row 7 and row 6. Row 7, you got Parker Kligerman, who's 17 points below the cut line, says that this team is just now hitting their stride. They feel really good today. Right in front of him, the guy he's chasing in points, Sheldon Creed, who's been hemorrhaging points the last 5 weeks. Kim, they're running out of time. They've got to turn it around and stop the bleeding today.
And as we talk points, we cannot ignore the points battle at the top, the regular season championship standings. John Hunter Nemechek looking to take it back from Austin Hill. He's got 5 wins on the season, but none of them have come on road courses. In fact, it's been a mixed bag for this team. They've got their worst start on a road course this season. It is going to be a battle. I can't think of more motivation than having Austin Hill, your regular season leader, right by you to give you that motivation. 5 straight top 10s at road courses for him. All the action coming your way. The green flag next.
And not to mention, but Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek have literally gone back and forth. It seems like every other weekend, one takes the points lead over the other, and they've been right at each other's throats all season. I don't think either one of them have had more than a 20 to 25 point lead since the very early going of the season, when Hill might have broken off those 3 wins in the first 5 races, and he had nearly a full race lead of points because of that hot stretch in the first month of the year. But as for today's race, it'll be action-packed. We're going to bring you the action, live commentary, as we do every NASCAR race weekend for the NASCAR Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series. Next weekend, we've got Milwaukee for the Truck Series, the next playoff race, as well as Daytona for the NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series. As for this weekend, you can tune in for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series live stream, as we will kick off our pre-race coverage at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, again, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And, of course, this Xfinity race about to get underway here in a matter of moments. We're just a couple minutes away from the drop of the green flag. 15 votes have already been casted so far for who you think will win today's Xfinity Series race at Watkins Glen. Kyle Busch leading the poll at 40%, Other at 27%, Ty Gibbs at 27% as well, and Alex Bowman at 7%. Didn't have any Xfinity Series regulars in that list because I don't think that we're going to see an Xfinity Series driver win today, considering not only how stacked the field is with the Cup regulars, but all of them in good equipment, and all of them very fast today in practice and qualifying just a few hours ago. Mark Schaefer, also welcome into the stream. I am taking Ty Gibbs to win today's race. He was very, very quick earlier, and of course coming off that win at Indy last week. I wanted to take Kyle Busch initially, and the reason why I talked myself off of it is because that 10 car in specifics has not been that quick on the road courses as of late with AJ Allmendinger. He was fast early in the year at COTA, but since then, Road America, they weren't really there on speed. They were 5th to 7th most of the day. He ran better at Indy last week, but they had nothing for Ty Gibbs, and he was a 2nd to 3rd or 4th place car throughout the course of the race. Kyle Busch, not as equipped as a road course race at this juncture of his career as AJ Allmendinger, although I think he's a better overall driver than AJ, so he can maybe get more out of that 10 car. I don't think that would be the case on the road course. He did qualify 8th. He was a little bit quicker in practice. I think he was top 3, but qualified 8th, so he's starting a little deeper in the field. We don't know how many cautions we're going to have today. We're not guaranteed any, of course, with no stage yellow, so I think that's going to be a little harder on Busch to try to get his way through the field. Now, I do think this Xfinity Series race car is going to be easier to make passes around this track today than what we'll see for the Cup Series tomorrow, but even still, track position is at a premium, It doesn't matter what series it is in this sport. Hopeful, welcome to the stream as well. Robert Perkle, welcome in. Just over 70 people watching. Our goal is 100 likes for today's stream, just as it has been for the NASCAR Truck and Xfinity Series streams. Cars are on the racetrack. Of course, you heard the command a few minutes ago, but they are leaving pit road as I speak. So, looks like they're going to radio in Austin Hill. You'll get to listen in.
Playoffs, last road course of the regular season. Is it all about today, or can you look at the bigger picture and what you're trying to do in the points?
Man, it's hard. You know this game, right? It's about the war, right? Not just a specific battle, and that's what we've got ahead of us in making this playoff, and I think that's what's going to get us in the playoffs. You look at the last 10 weeks, I mean, we've been one of the best cars in the series, and especially the last 4 weeks. We just got to store some stage points. I think today's a big opportunity, but I also think next week and the next 4 weeks are all of our opportunities. So, yeah, I think we can get it done. Maybe Racing's doing a great job, and we've got a better car than we had qualified. I think we can get the stage points here both stages and put ourselves in the right position to go challenge at the front.
All right, Parker, you're analyst / driver, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Fastest road course, 7 corners. What's the one corner? What's the one corner you have to be great in if you have a chance at today's race?
That's turn 1, buddy. You got to get off turn 1 to get down this big straightaway and be as fast as Xfinity 10G internet. If you do that, hopefully have this spike light corners up front, be the best off turn 1. I think we can get this thing up front.
All right, man, appreciate you taking the time. The fans appreciate it. Enjoy your day out there. We'll be watching.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to a great day.
Parker Kligerman with 4 straight top 10 finishes coming into today's race. Those finishes being 9th, 2nd, 7th, and 8th in those last 4. Field is doubled up, but they will have to check pit road speed still. I think they have a lap or 2 yet before we get the actual green flag. They were talking to Parker Kligerman there, my bad as well, not Austin Hill. They had Austin Hill's in-car camera as I was unmuting my phone so you guys could listen into that, and it was actually Parker Kligerman on the radio call. Philip Moore, Easy Network, also welcome in here in the early going of the stream, as we have not yet seen the drop of the green flag, but we are getting closer and closer with every passing second. Eight top 5 finishes for Josh Berry this season. Most of any driver without a win in the series. Still sitting at just 2 wins for JRM this season, but one of them was on a road course just in the last month, with, of course, Sam Mayer getting the win at Road America, stealing it from his teammate Justin Allgaier, who actually dominated the race, but made a big mistake in an overtime restart all on his own, which allowed for Mayer and Parker Kligerman to both get around him in that closing lap. Quite a few other cars got around him as he actually went wide and ended up in the grass, losing a handful of positions. Not even getting a top 3 finish out of it. Checking pit road times this time by, just to make sure that the tachometers are, of course, working properly. Very slow pit road speed at Watkins Glen, despite a very long and fast main front straightaway. With this being a road course, though, green flag pit stops. If you're close enough at the front of the field, you still won't have to worry about falling a lap off the pace. So that is what makes the road course racing strategy so intense, knowing that you can make a pit stop pretty much whenever, not lose a lap, as long as you're within about a half a lap of the race leaders. If you're outside the top 20 or so, you probably can't get too aggressive at the strategy call, but front of the field, we'll see a lot of aggressiveness there. And there has been a lot of fuel mileage races at Watkins Glen in the past before the stage racing era, so I think that's going to be huge, more so maybe for tomorrow's race, with it being a slightly longer distance than today's race, but it's only longer by about 8 laps, so it could come into play today still too. Delbert Wilson, also welcome into the stream. Dale Campbell, thanks for tuning in. Couple other people just popping into the chat here right before the start of today's race. Again, the Cup Series race tomorrow will start at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this one about to begin here shortly. Fuel windows 30 to 32 laps in an 82-lap race, 20 laps in each Stage 1 and Stage 2, and 42 laps in the final stage. Again, those stage yellows at the stage ends for Stage 1 and Stage 2, and pit road speed will be 40 miles per hour. Lights are out on the pace car. They will be going green this time by, as the field is just getting into the inner loop in turn 5, and they are just a couple corners away from going green. The race today is on the USA Network. For anybody wondering what channel you can watch the race, obviously you can listen live to the commentary that I will have here throughout today's race on KRC. Be sure to like and subscribe for more NASCAR content. A busy weekend. We've got this race today. We've got the Cup race tomorrow. We got a couple video game streams this weekend as well with a doubleheader coming up tomorrow. I'll actually be running a NASCAR 07 Cup race at Talladega. So that should be pretty fun. I'm going to start that at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, right before our live commentary stream at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow afternoon. So we're going to have back-to-back streams on the channel. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And then on Monday, I'll also be doing a NASCAR 07 stream. That race would be at Michigan for the Cup Series, and that will start at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday evening. So that is your outlook for the rest of the race weekend. 3 straight days. Should be a lot of fun. Radio-style broadcast as well for the USA Network, and you get to listen into some of that throughout the course of today's race. But, of course, I'm going to get you guys started here. Ty Gibbs has elected the inside lane for what would be in turn 1. Of course, with that being a right-handed corner, hard 90. Definitely a treacherous corner on restarts at Watkins Glen, and it'll be interesting to see what will come out of this initial start upcoming. Pace car pulling to pit road. Gibbs about to lead him into the Geico restart zone. Will he go back-to-back, or will there be another driver to step up and win? Xfinity regular or Cup regular? We're about to find out over the next just over 200 miles. Green flag is in the air, and the Xfinity Series is racing at Watkins Glen. Great launch by Ty Gibbs through the restart zone. Easily clear of Daniel Hemrick. One car almost gets blocked into the guardrail on the inside of the racetrack as they're 3 and nearly 4 wide through the first turn. Alex Bowman is in danger of losing second place off the start to Sammy Smith, which is exactly what happens. Justin Allgaier, rather, not Sammy Smith. Allgaier is going to move into P2. Sam Mayer in 4th, right behind the 17 car as they funnel their way through the S's. Next along straightaway heading into the bus stop as Allgaier tries to get as much of a drafting effect off of Ty Gibbs as possible. Not going to be able to close the gap too much that time. Big bounce off the curb for Ty Gibbs. Like the rear of his race car started kicking out sideways on him. We'll see that throughout the course of today's race, especially in that corner where the curb may be a little bit more violent with the bouncing of his race cars versus some of the other corners around the racetrack. Like Kyle Busch might be up to P3. I'm waiting for the leaderboard to update. Well, you know what? It would be nice if I had the leaderboard on the screen. There you go. You guys can see the live leaderboard. Lap by lap, it'll make itself up. And yeah, Hemrick lost a couple spots there. I don't know why I said Alex Bowman, by the way, on the start. I apologize for that. He qualified well, but he had to drop to the rear for the start of the race. And Daniel Hemrick was in second there outside of the front row initially, but obviously ended up falling back and lost a couple more spots, it looked like, in turn 5 on the opening lap as well before falling to 5th place. Again, Kyle Busch, Sam Mayer passed him for position. Side by side through the S's with the championship points leaders, Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek. Battling for stage points with only 20 laps in this first stage. Going to be important also for drivers on the bubble just behind them trying to crack the top 10 of Sheldon Creed and Parker Kligerman. It's going to be a 4-position battle there for that 9th and 10th place spot, and that's going to be fun to watch through the first 20 laps of this stage. Sammy Smith, Riley Herbst kind of running away from those guys after they were side by side for as long as they were. Hill a lot wider off the exit of turn 5, a sharper cut off the exit of the corner, a lower exit for John Hunter Nemechek as he tries to make a move, but again can't make the pass. Maybe looks a little quicker than Austin Hill right now, he just can't get around him. Put more pressure into turn 7. A little contact it looked like between Parker Kligerman and Sheldon Creed in the bus stop that last time by as well. Kligerman was on the inside getting in, which, getting in, which would have been the inside in the center. Creed maybe not giving Kligerman a lot of room there either. Very tight area of the racetrack to go side by side. One of 2 corners that are very treacherous to go side by side. That and the S's, of course. Bus stop a little tighter than the S's, but of course faster speeds carrying through the S's make it very dangerous to go 2 by 2 there as well. Josh Berry in the 6th place position, right ahead of Sammy Smith, trying to close the gap on Daniel Hemrick, who's losing touch of the top 4 very quickly as he's about almost 2 seconds off the race lead. Scoring monitor was a little wonky on USA Network when they were going through the bus stop. It said he was about 1.7 back. He's actually 5.9 seconds back, according to when they crossed the start-finish line this time by. Ty Gibbs has led the first 3 laps of the race, currently on lap 4. 1.2 second lead over Justin Allgaier. Kyle Busch is 3.9 seconds back in 3rd. Sam Mayer in 4th, 4.4 seconds back. And Daniel Hemrick 6 seconds off the lead in 5th. Points as they run between Creighton Klickerman on the cutoff line. 18 points is the difference. That came in with a 17-point differential, but again started in the same row in row 6, 11th to 12th place. And of course, running there right now in the early laps as well. Nemechek, after putting a lot of pressure on Austin Hill, Hill's starting to drive away from him. Maybe not having to look out of the rearview mirror quite as much, and he's focusing on his race line, and he is definitely starting to check away from the 20, and that is holding up the 2 in the 48 that are definitely still behind that 20 car, trying to battle for 10th to get into the top 10 here. As we have 1 car around in the bus stop, the 6 of Brennan Poole nudges the wall. Might have been contact there as he's got a donut mark on the left side of his race car. He was able to keep the car rolling as we stayed green, no caution. And that took place at the bus stop. It looks like he's got a bit of a tire rub going on right now on the left side of his car. Can't tell if that's the left front or the left rear that's rubbing, but he had a little bit of smoke coming out of that right-handed turn 5. As they show the replay, he was side by side with the 96 car, and then the 96 kind of tagged Poole in the left rear after they had made contact, which turned him all the way around, spinning back across traffic, and luckily never got hit by anybody. Quite a bit of dust, of course, kicking up from when he slid through the grass right back across the racing groove. Everybody's blasted through the side, getting through the bus stop. Daniel Hemrick gets quite a bit of it, and that costed him some time. Sammy Smith looks to the outside, but that may leave the bottom open for Riley Herbst in that 5th corner. Off the exit, the 98 and the 18 are side by side for 6th. Sammy Smith going to cut him off the exit of turn 5, looking to the top. Herbst's going to charge back to the bottom and try to get underneath Smith again. Not going to be able to close the charge. Makes a mistake getting back to the gas, and now Austin Hill goes wide to try to make a move into turn 7 on Herbst. All those guys kind of bottlenecked Hill up, and very quickly here come the 20 and the 2 behind the 21. Hill a bit wide off of turn 7 as well, almost got into that wall right off the exit of the corner. Full screen commercial break for the first time at today's race. We'll go through a full field running order rundown on lap 5 of 82. Ty Gibbs with a 2.3 second lead over Justin Allgaier. Sam Mayer in 3rd. Kyle Busch in 4th. Josh Berry is 5th. Daniel Hemrick in 6th. Sammy Smith 7th. Riley Herbst 8th. Austin Hill 9th. And John Hunter Nemechek is in 10th. Sheldon Creed in 11th. Parker Klickerman 12th. Kaz Grell at 13th. Jeremy Clements 14th. Chandler Smith 15th. 16th is Ross Chastain. Brandon Jones 17th. Alex LeMay 18th. Jeb Burton 19th. And Sage Karam is 20th. Cole Custer in 21st. Stephen Parsons 22nd. Connor Mosack 23rd. Ryan Sieg 24th. Alex Bowman up to 25th. Brett Moffitt at 26th. Anthony Alfredo 27th. Josh Williams 28th. Blaine Perkins 29th. And Josh Walicki in 30th. Kyle Weatherman 31st. Parker Retzlaff 32nd. Ryan Ellis 33rd. Max McLaughlin 34th. Joe Graff Jr. 35th. Kyle Sieg 36th. Brendan Poole 37th. And Stanton Barrett rounds out the 38-car field. All cars still in the lead lap through the first 6 laps of today's race. Once again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take our first ad break of the race. You're listening live on KRC. Earl Arnold Jr. also welcome into the stream. One of the mods has returned. And don't forget to vote for who you think will win today's race. We close the polls at the end of stage 2. 38 votes have been casted so far, so at the end of lap 40, we will close the poll. Very tight right now between Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs. 34% of you think Busch will win, 32% say Gibbs, and 26% say other. Only 8% for Alex Bowman, who's still charging for the back of the pack. It is going to be a very interesting race. Gibbs is in the 54 car in the Cup Series. He ran full-time in the 54 last year, but it's the 19 car this time. He's running part-time, of course, in the Xfinity Series. I believe this is his 6th or 7th Xfinity start of the season. And, of course, trying to go for his 2nd win in as many weeks. Sam Mayer is up to 3rd after getting by Kyle Busch during the commercial break, and he is now 7 seconds off the race lead. Last time by, Ty Gibbs still the fastest on the racetrack, dropped to 72.806, which was about 0.09 of a second quicker than Justin Allgaier at 2nd, as he has grown out now in 2.7 second lead. Fastest lap of the day for Gibbs was on lap 2, where he dropped to 71.882, so he's already had about a second of fall off through the first 7 laps around this race surface. I've got money on Gibbs to win today's race. I feel good about it. Plus 200. That was my pick to win, and very close to being your guys' pick as the fans, according to that poll. Coming up on lap 9 this time by, and another 0.2 of a second quicker, it looks like, than Allgaier this last lap, as he's got roughly a 3-second race lead. Side by side for position, it looks like, as John Nemechek is going to rustle his way past Daniel Hemrick and Riley Herbst. Herbst and Hemrick still door to door as they battle into turn 7. Sheldon Creed hot on their tails, looking to the outside off of turn 6, which will put him to the bottom lane in turn 7. Buggerman finished right behind Creed in the last race at Indianapolis last week. Both had top 10 finishes. And we'll see if that'll be the case again here today. Big lockup in the bus stop for the 24 of Connor Mosack. He slid very wide. Luckily got it locked down before making contact with the safer barrier off the exit. Not really the exit, more the middle of the bus stop. That first left-handed kink of the bus stop is where the contact was made. Like he got into Alex LeBay, I do believe, and ended up going sideways. But honestly, the angle he was sliding at, I'm very surprised that he didn't make a major mistake. And it looked like Kyle Busch actually missed the bus stop. All 4 tires there. And that was what caused Mayer to catch up and obviously take over 3rd. Busch is over 10 seconds off the race lead already. Austin Hill on the back bumper of Sammy Smith off the exit of turn 5 as they run nose to tail down the chute into turn 6. Hill still maintaining himself ahead of the 20. Again, only an 11-point lead coming into this race between those two. Sammy Smith with his rear bumper yawed way out off of that left-hander in 6. A lot more stability out of the rear tires, it looks like, for Austin Hill. Has more grip, taking care of his equipment to this point in the run. Again, we've seen quite a bit of fall off. Almost 2 seconds now is the fall off with what Gibbs ran that last lap versus his fastest lap of the day. And nearly side by side in the S's, a little bit further back in the field. Back half of the top 10 still. Nemechek pulling out of line on Sammy Smith. Is he going to go for it? And he does. Great move as he gets by his teammate. Squeezes in line right behind Austin Hill as he keeps pace. 1 car's around in the bus stop again. 2 cars, actually. Jeremy Clements is one of them. And the other is the 16 of Chandler Smith. Contact between those two. Calamity corner down in the bus stop. 3 cars have now spun. I guess 4 if you count the 2 in this spin. And there's quite a bit of damage to that right front fender, it looks like, of Clements, as he might have dug through the grass trying to get himself back onto the race course. 3 wide into the corner. That definitely does not work. And the 16 actually got hit from behind by his teammate, Daniel Hemrick, which knocked him into the 51 following that 3-wide battle. 4 cars have spun in the bus stop all of a sudden here in the early laps of this race. Everybody going for everything they can get. That last lap, Justin Allgaier was about a 1/10 of a second quicker than Ty Gibbs as he tries to charge closer to the front of the field. Kyle Busch on pit road for the first time today.
Kyle Busch here on pit road came on the radio, said, I have a flat tire. He was saying the car, handling-wise, extremely free. They got all that grass off the grill, as you see. A massive adjustment here, trying to tighten up the 10 car for Kyle Busch. We'll see which tire was indeed flat.
The disappointment for this is with
flat tire for Kyle Busch. Jeremy Clements making his way back to pit road following his spin a half a lap ago as well. So an unscheduled stop for the 10 team, which is going to put him behind as a potential flat tire. And I wonder if it might have happened from kind of missing the bus stop just a little bit and coming back onto the race course, clipping that grass. Could have been an awkward entry up over the curb as well when he got down into the grass, which could have caused his tire to go flat. Maybe even a flat spot if he locked the brakes up a little too much trying to get into a corner a little bit ago as well. And the woes continue on the road courses here in the Xfinity Series for Colleague Racing over the last several attempts. With AJ Allmendinger now here today again with Kyle Busch and of course Chandler Smith going for a spin in the bus stop moments ago as well. Up to lap 12. 9 laps to go in this first stage. Sheldon Creed is 2 positions ahead of Parker Kligerman, but both in the top 10, currently running 8th and 10th. Kligerman is trying to get by Sammy Smith. Really, he's playing more defense with the car just behind him, which would be Cole Custer in the 00. Pretty extremely close battles if you look at where Austin Hill is at interval-wise now, working his way to 5th. John Hunter Nemechek still behind him in 6th place. And then Cole Custer, 23.4 seconds back. So, I mean, it is really Nemechek in 6th is 2 seconds behind where Hill's at. With where Nemechek is scored right now and Kaz Grala in 12th place is scored, they were only 1.8 seconds separating those 7 positions on the racetrack. And you can still see that they're all underneath one blanket. And they have a lap car in the midst of that as well. Of course, Jeremy Clements, who just came off of pit road, blending into traffic with those guys, exiting turn 1 there. He's getting up to speed and on fresher tires. I'd imagine he'll be able to slowly drive away from him, as we have seen nearly 2 seconds of fall off already. Kligerman trying to break the draft following the assist now into the bus stop. Sharper angle entry into the corner. Knows he just has to hang on for a few more laps on Custer at least so he can get that stage point and then maybe come into pit road for his first green flag stop of the day. Jeremy Clements making a mistake in the bus stop, and that is going to cost Kligerman some time as he's side-by-side off turn 5 with him, and this may create an opportunity for Cole Custer to get around the 48 car. Turn 6, Custer probably doesn't feel he's quite close enough to make the move yet. He does clear the 51 car to angle out his entry into turn 6 a little bit better than Kligerman. And as that pressure continues on, Ty Gibbs continues on with his race lead, trading fastest lap times on a lap-by-lap basis between himself and Justin Allgaier. That last lap, Gibbs was exactly 1/10 quicker than Allgaier, and the lead is 3.6 seconds as they head to the second USA Network commercial break of the race. Your top 10, Ty Gibbs in the race lead. Justin Allgaier in second, again 3.6 seconds back. Sam Bayer is in third place, 8.3 seconds off the lead. Josh Berry's 14.3 seconds off the lead in fourth. And Austin Hill is 20.3 seconds off the lead in fifth. John Hunter Nemechek in sixth place is 23.2 seconds back. Riley Herbst is 24.2 seconds back in seventh. Sheldon Creed in eighth is 24.6 seconds off the lead. Sammy Smith in ninth place is 25.9 seconds back. And Parker Kligerman again rounds out the top 10. He's 26.7 seconds behind race leader Ty Gibbs. Average race speed to this point, 116.32 miles per hour. Gibbs has led every lap from the pole through the first 14, as they're about to get to lap 15 very shortly. Again, our leaderboard updates, all the interval times and everything updates when the race leader crosses the start-finish line each given lap. So, of course, with it being a road course, it might be a little longer of increments of time before they actually update compared to other racetracks, of course, on a weekly basis. Once again, hit that like button if you guys have not done so on the stream yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We got just over 100 viewers currently watching, concurrent viewers that is, and up to 45 likes on the stream. So once again, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see what will come of this race. Very close poll, 44 votes so far. Again, three-way race right now for that poll. It's going to be very tight for who you think will win. Kyle Busch with that unscheduled pit stop, though, still leading the poll, 34%. Ty Gibbs dominating the early going of the race with 32% of the votes, and other at 27%. As they come back from the USA Network, you'll get to listen in for the next couple laps of the race broadcast.
As they're going for Ty Gibbs, guys are pretty quiet on the radio. Dylan, is that the case with Ty today?
Well, he has been quiet, and the only real conversation has been his crew chief, Jason Ratcliffe, telling him, when your lead gets to 3 seconds, start to save me some fuel, so our fuel stop will be just a little bit shorter and we have to fill it up. Well, Ty did that. His rhythm and his lap times are so good, the gap has continued to grow now to almost 4 seconds. So things are going well for the 19, Marty.
Dylan, we talked about what a critical race this is for Riley Herbst. Just 34 above the cut line, had top 10 times earlier on. In fact, 5th fastest lap time last time. But is there a problem inside the 98? Listen on the radio.
He's a jump transmission. You know what you got. Stay with it here. You can do it. You must have hopped out. You must stop again. Yeah, I figured.
So, Dale Jr., what's going on is that the car's hopping out of gear when they go over those curves you showed us earlier in the bus stop. So, how would you keep it in gear all day long? Still 66 to go. Long way to go in this race for Riley Herbst.
Yeah, you're going to have to drive with one hand if that gets much worse, and that will get worse. Usually when you tear up the transmission or use it up, beat it up, those gates, they no longer hold the car in gear. Lifting on and off the throttle, going over curbs, all of those things can let the car come out of gear unknowingly. And so at some point, I mean, he really has to drive this race one-handed, holding that car where it needs to be, whether it's 3rd or 4th gear.
Right now, he's running in the 7th position right now. He's got Sheldon Creed behind him, doing a good job here in the S's, keeping that car dialed in to the bottom portions of the curbings, whether they be driver's left or driver's right. He right now is running in the 7th spot, 25 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what the leaders have been able to do in just a short amount of laps, driving away. The rest of the field's absolutely going to need some sort of a yellow, some sort of a sequence to allow them to gather back up, get back into this race. The two of Creed get right to the back bumper of Herbst right there. It's going to cost him on corner exit, though, as he drives away.
Yeah, Riley Herbst and Sheldon Creed both are in position to earn stage points with only 3 to go. And Parker Kligerman is not in the top 10. So both of these drivers can finish this stage out. That's an advantage to them. Parker talked about it. They have good finishes, but they just need stage points. And right now, not on cue to get it.
And we ride along with the Xfinity Mobile onboard of Parker Kligerman right now running in the 11th position. The top 10 spots will all get stage points, so that will hurt Parker Kligerman's hunt to get into the playoff picture as he makes a pass there. But Kligerman's still running in that 11th spot. Sammy Smith just in front of him.
Here they come now into turn 2. Parker making the pass around Sammy Smith, so Parker breaking his way into the top 10. Now, once he's made the pass and is starting to pull away, he's got a long gap before he gets to Cole Custer in 9th, but good news for Parker, at least here in the early go.
Yeah, he gets around Sammy Smith, and that allows that car to get some clean air, not just for the aerodynamics, but the brakes and everything. This thing's going to perform and drive and steer way better in this clean air. He should be able to drive away from the 18 rather easily. Parker, a great little road racer. These are his opportunities to shine, if not try to win some races. And you mentioned, not a lot of contact right here with Herbst and Creed. Still contact, banging into each other in turn 6.
That battle going to continue on as they're not giving each other much room into turn 7. Creed to the inside of Herbst as they battle for the 8th place position. Runs Herbst all the way up the racetrack, nearly into the wall as they still make contact. And here comes Cole Custer right behind the 2 car, and he may try to take it 3 wide into the first turn. Not going to be able to do that. He's just going to stand and wait and watch these two duke it out themselves. Creed using up the 98 car again as he clears him, forces clear off the exit of turn 1. Custer gets by Herbst as well. Of course, Herbst struggling with that transmission, as you heard moments ago. Already hanging on for dear life, and then when you got the 2 car beating on your fenders, that's probably not going to help matters, to say the least. Creed drives away. We'll see if Custer can get by Creed on the final lap and a half of this first stage. Creed was all over the back bumper of the 98 through turn 5 the lap before, but I would have to imagine there was contact somewhere around the racetrack before that for the following lap that they ended up, of course, rubbing fenders all the way down that last straightaway, and that led, of course, just a couple straightaways later and then down into turn 1. Herbst losing touch of the 0-0 and the 2 very quickly in front of him. Gibbs is on the final lap of this first stage. He's got a nearly 5-second lead over Justin Allgaier in second. Make that a 4-second lead over Justin Allgaier at the start-finish line that last time by. Creed might have scuffed the wall up the exit of turn 7 that time, and here comes Custer underneath him into turn 1. Inside of the right-handed 90-degree corner, downhill, Custer chatters the tires a little bit, and he's going to swing way wide as he overdrove the corner. Looked like he was a little hot going into that corner. Still stays clear of Creed somehow as he's able to get the power down quickly. Maybe catching the gear to try to keep himself going in the right direction. It looked like he was going to slip up way wider than what he actually did, but definitely using a lot of that excess pavement off the exit of that first turn. Gibbs into turn 6, now making his way to turn 7 on the 20th lap of the race. First stage flying by in less than the first half hour today at Watkins Glen. Ty Gibbs will dominate and win the opening stage. Justin Allgaier will end up 4 seconds behind him in second. Sam Mayer 9 seconds off the lead in third. Josh Berry 15.5 seconds off the lead in fourth. And Austin Hill is 19.5 seconds back in fifth. John Nemechek will finish 6th in the stage. Sheldon Creed trying to hang on for 7th. He's got the 98, the 0-0 right there behind him. Herbst trying to get to the back bumper of the 2. Not going to happen yet. Creed will hang on to finish 7th in the stage. And by inches at the line, it looks like Riley Herbst finishes in 8th, Cole Custer 9th. And then 10th place would have been Parker Kligerman. Those are the drivers receiving stage points, of course, in this stage. Ty Gibbs, Xfinity Series regular, getting the stage win. As he did in both stages, if I remember correctly, in last week's race. Like Cole Custer went wide in turn 5, which is how the 2 and the 98 got around him. Alex Bowman onto pit road. Green flag pit stop. And the caution.
Huge break for the 17 of Bowman, a huge break for the 16 of Smith, Dylan.
Right, and this is exactly what these guys needed as we see the stop car over there. The 17 crew needed some help on the strategy, and I think they just got it.
Yeah, that's going to be a big advantage. Sorry, Rick, because these cars were already on pit road when the yellow came out. They're going to be able to perform their service and rejoin the racetrack. So as long as they stay in front of the 19, it's going to be a huge break. I think the 17 pulled that off. Unfortunately for the 16, I believe he's gone a lap down through this cycle. So it's going to be good break for one, bad break for the other, Marty.
Yeah, Steve, that was very interesting. A lot of drivers were reporting oil on the racetrack. So a number of teams were planning to come to pit road the next time by, including Austin Hill, the regular season points leader so far, because they saw that oil evidently from the 43 car on the racetrack, but the 43 car gave up the ghost before everybody could get to pit road. So that's why you saw Alex Bowman, those other cars come to pit road. They were trying to beat the caution they thought was coming out, Steve.
Well, that's great. Great call for these guys. The trick is you have to be close enough to do it. You lose about 40 seconds, 40 to 42 seconds to pit, which normally you don't worry about on a 75-second lap, but when you have a leader as fast as Ty Gibbs, I mean, you heard the guys in the corner say it, 5th, 6th, 7th place were 25 to 30, 35 seconds behind. So, I mean, that's an amazing pace by the front 5 cars. Now we're hearing the 16 also is going to have a penalty, which it'll just put him tail end. He was in trouble anyway because he's going to be a lap down. Now he's going to be a lap down and tail end, which is going to make it tougher to get the free pass. You drove through too many boxes. You're allowed 3 boxes. Remember, drivers entering backwards, so the driver's still on the left side of the vehicle, turning in and out. It's a little bit different, right? Like, think about turning into a parking spot. You know where the left front tire is. But how about that right front? You know when you back out, Rick, you try to pull forward and you don't know if you're going to hit that car you just backed out from. You know, that's as you creep by. These guys, same idea. You know, they can lose track of that right front corner and touch another box. I think we should have a look at it. So you're allowed to drive through 3. Let's see right here. Oh, see, he just goes straight through. He goes through a whole bunch. So, and it's just a mental error because it's just unnatural being on the wrong side. You really need to, really turn left and get out. But at this time, he probably hears the cautions coming out. He knows he's a lap down. It's not going to be a huge penalty, but a penalty the same.
So the field tucked in behind Ty Gibbs, and we'll see quite a few of them making their way onto pit road when they get around to it. Well, fans, download the official app of NASCAR. You can follow the racing action with free live scoring. There's in-car cameras and a radio broadcast. You can upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and an ad-free experience. I'm sure a lot of those folks that are up there on their campers are taking advantage of it. All you have to do is search NASCAR in your app store and start a free trial today.
So now you have Alex Bowman is going to be able to stay on the racetrack and probably become the leader or maybe second when all these guys pit. Be interested to see what Kyle Busch does. Remember, he was short on fuel. Maybe they just do gas only here. Maybe they stay on the racetrack. But right now, all the leaders on pit road, Dylan.
And all the momentum with Ty Gibbs, winner last week, has been in control so far today. Just said it was a little bit snug for the 19 car. They'll change Goodyears and add Sunoco fuel, Kim.
Justin Allgaier in that middle box. He said he's loose to the right-handers, tight to the left-handers, a little bit bouncy in the bus stop. The call is for 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. There was a chassis adjustment called too, trying to go one up left rear, Marty.
An impressive first run for Austin Hill, who was worried about an adjustment they made during qualifying, but in the second half of the run, he was one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. All these cars pitting here after 22 laps completed here at Watkins Glen. Kyle Busch also on pit road right now as well.
Headed to a commercial break under our first caution of the day. Ryan Ellis spinning and stalling in the bus stop right after the end of this first stage. I believe the caution actually did take place on lap 20, and it did. So, right at the stage end. But the stage ended under green, and then the caution came out soon thereafter. Of course, there was a couple of cars on pit road that are actually going to be able to cycle to the front of the field, one of them being Alex Bowman, and the 17 who started at the tail end of the field, and now he will have track position as he has cycled ahead of Ty Gibbs, who just won the race out of the pits. But Gibbs not in the lead for the first time today following the pit stop cycling, as they were the only cars able to make a green flag stop right at the end of that last stage. Field window was 30 to 32 laps, so I'm not even going to necessarily guarantee that quite a few drivers at the very front of the field were going to pit within the next couple laps, but obviously they pitted under the caution to get fresh tires now that they're all going to be stacked up very close to one another for this side-by-side upcoming restart. Choose lane in effect again, as it has been for every road course race this season. That's something we saw on the road courses and super speedways in last year, and then towards the end of 2021 when they implemented the choose code rule, but this year that is new. I would imagine with Ty Gibbs taking the inside lane for turn 1 in the initial start, Alex Bowman will do the same and put Gibbs on the top, because Hemrick, who was on the outside of that first throw, actually ended up losing a couple positions out of that, so that could put Gibbs in an uncompromised spot. 50 votes have been casted so far for you guys that are watching this stream in the poll for who you think will win today's race. Kyle Busch, Ty Gibbs, Alex Bowman, or other are your choices. Busch leading with 34% of the votes, 32% for Gibbs, who won the first stage. Alex Bowman with 6% of the votes, and other at 28%. So 3 of those possible 4 options very, very close to one another. Now Bowman's got the lead, so we'll see if that'll swing his vote upwards in the chat as well. You can also change your pick if you do choose so. Again, that poll ends at the end of stage 2, so we have a little less than 20 laps to go until that gets updated. I believe the free pass car was the 28 of Kyle Sieg, and it was, so he'll be back on the lead lap. There were a few cars that were a lap down there under green flag conditions. A few more took the wave around, and we will have 30 cars on the lead lap when we get back to racing. Gibbs was the only Cup Series regular that actually finished in the top 10 in that first stage. The playoff point will go to the 19 team for the Owners Series playoffs. Remember, they have 2 wins this year, qualifying themselves for the Owners playoffs because they have ran every race. Ryan Truex got a win at Dover, with the team, and of course Gibbs last week at Indianapolis.
Just run off and left the field, but he is dominating. Obviously, I think the best racings is 6 through 12.
Yes.
Where you got Nemechek, Custer, Creed, Parker Kligerman, all those guys. They're going at it really hard, Mayer. They're getting after it. So it's been fun to watch those guys, but boy, Ty is hauling the mail around.
Yeah, they do know this is not the last race before their playoffs, because those guys are racing in that cluster right there. Yeah. Those guys are racing like it's the last lap, and everything is on the line. And for a lot of them, for Custer, for Herbst, for Kligerman, it basically is all on the line. I've been impressed with Ty Gibbs' speed. To pull that far away, to pull 20-some seconds ahead of the fifth-place guy, that's impressive, guys.
It is, and we'll see what the good fortune of being on pit road for the 17 of Alex Bowman, how that will play out. And speaking of, let's go to Dylan with more.
Well, and remember, they were one of the cars that started at the back of the field due to unapproved adjustments. So Alex had driven to about the top 15, but wasn't thrilled with the balance of his race car. Just said they were a little bit tight on that run. But remember who the crew chief is of this race car, Greg Ives, who, of course, worked with Alex for a long time on the Cup side of things. They've been so close to a win this year in this 17 Hendrick car. And Alex and Greg both said, I really would like to get a win for this program this year. And Greg said, we're going to need some help because of because of where we start. And I think he just kind of took matters into his own hands there by getting the 17 on the pit road.
All four Hendrick cars have driven, all four Hendrick drivers have driven this car number in this entry in Xfinity Series races. Chase was the lone driver who said, I'm going to do it at an oval, I'm going to do it at Pocono. Right. The other three all doing it at a road course.
You see the drivers to win in the 17, Kenseth Waltrip and Terry Labonte. The 17 on that car for Alex Bowman in honor of the late Ricky Hendrick. That was the number that he raced when he was running the Truck Series, won with a similar paint scheme in the Truck Series. And so that is why the 17, fielded by Hendrick, is out there on the track with these guys behind the wheel.
So we talk a lot about strategy to start. Well, here you have it, right? One pit stop behind you, 59 laps to go. Everybody in the field needs to make one more pit stop on fuel. Everybody's bunched back up. Marty.
Steve, real quick, want to show you the left front from John Hunter Nemechek's car. They just pulled off. This is a blister. It is not a flat spot. So would that concern you as a crew chief? You just pulled that off. John Hunter did say it had a vibration. I didn't know it'd be that bad. So would that be concerning for you, Mr. Crew Chief? Oh, wow. What happened there with a 92?
Josh Williams, severe and extensive damage to the front of this car. So they put the caution back out, lights back on the pace car. But a huge problem for Josh Williams.
The heck happened?
Well, we see a couple cars coming to pit road as well. I don't know if Josh Williams was trying to get caught up. It just came around the corner and didn't know the field was there. But obviously some heavy damage. The 25 of Moffitt's on pit road now. I'm not sure if that's who he hit.
Yeah, I don't see enough damage to the back of the car.
They don't seem like
there's a lot of damage to the front of that 92.
Yeah, that 92 is destroyed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there's the choose for this racetrack is exiting the bus stop over here before the carousel. And a lot of cars, especially like probably the last 12 cars of the field, almost have to come to a complete stop because of the process of the choose and everybody making up their decision about being able to go left or right. All of the back half of the field almost has to come to a complete stop. So then, once they do decide left or right, they all then try to catch up back to the field coming around the chicane or the carousel headed to turn 6. I'm not sure if somebody just wasn't paying attention, but let's take a look here.
Ooh.
Yeah, so as these cars are all trying to catch back up with the field, there's another sort of domino effect that's causing that issue. And if you're not really paying attention, you're going to run into the front of the car in front of you.
Well, the 25 of Moffitt looked like they had a different issue. I saw them jacking up, turning tires, so I don't know if they have a brake issue or a broken axle. Something is amiss on the 25, Dylan.
It's a broken axle, Steve, so you see them going behind the wall. They're going to try to get this sorted out and get Brett back on the racetrack.
So, Rick, basically when they jacked up the left side and were turning both tires, that tells me that sometimes if you have a brake issue, like you don't think the front of the rear working, you would jack it up, slowly push on the brake pedal and make sure the front and the back stop together. Or with one rear tire on the ground, you should feel the locker inside the rear gear. So it had to be one of those two issues. Sounds like it's an axle. This car right here, Rick, it had to knock the radiator out of it. You put the speedy dry down, so Unfortunate for Josh Williams.
Yeah, so the speedy drive was going down. They're going to clean the track off a little bit before the green flag will fly. Once again, we'll take a quick break.
We're just about to get back to racing, and we're only 2 corners away from dropping the green flag, and then Josh Williams running in the back of somebody. Still don't even know who he hit. To be exact, they did show, I think it was the 24 car of Connor Mosack. He ran into the back of somebody as well. Nowhere near as severe of damage as what Williams had. But obviously he got into the back of somebody, and we have yet to find out exactly who it was, and we'll see if they have a replay of that when they come back from the commercial break. But odd scenes here under caution at Watkins Glen. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take our second ad break of the race. You're listening live on KRC. Gonna have even less laps to go in Stage 2 when we get back to racing, now that this caution period has been extended. ARCA brakes, yeah, probably. Somebody was not looking in front of them. Josh Williams has had a number of sequences under caution this year in the Xfinity Series, hasn't he? This time, both of them actually have parked him for the race, believe it or not. Oh, jeez. Bowman did elect the inside lane for the restart. Gibbs will be on the outside of row 1, so it'll be interesting to see what Gibbs can do there. Equal tires, considering Bowman, again, was on pit road when the caution came out, so didn't even really get fired up under green flag conditions. Level playing field, and now we'll get to see exactly how fast that number 17 Chevrolet is. Austin Hill cycled towards the front, gaining a couple spots on pit road as well, just behind them in the running order. John Nemechek lost a few spots. Same goes for Sam Mayer, who was third at the end of the first stage. And Kyle Busch, who had that flat tire, still on the lead lap with that unscheduled pit stop. He's caught back up in the back of the field now as he currently sits in 24th. 27 cars on the lead lap. There was 30, but there were some cars that had damage following that brake check issue. Mosack, and then obviously Williams pulling out of the race, and there was somebody else who was on the lead lap that isn't anymore. Wonder if Alex LeBay might have been that driver. I think he might have been on the lead lap before as well, so maybe he got ran into the back of. Just an educated guess. I'm just assuming things, don't actually know, so don't take my word for it completely. League handicap likely to stay at 12. Rebecca Chatlos, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, my golf game was a little off the last couple days compared to what it was last week. A little bit better today. It was 10 over 79, but it was... I cleaned it up on the back nine. I have high hopes for tomorrow.
Very clearly what happened to the 92 of Josh Williams. Let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, so this is the 44 of Stephen Parsons, and you're going to be shocked to see, some damage, but nothing compared to the 92. So all the way at the top of the screen, you're going to see everybody start to check up. The 25 of Moffitt right there, you see just to the side of Stephen Parsons, the heavy damage to Josh Williams. And we heard over the radio, he had said that he was adjusting something inside the car, a helmet hose or something. It was literally just not looking up.
And barely even bent the light that's on the back of that car.
There's your lesson for teenage drivers. Stay off your phone. Don't adjust the radio. Even a professional race car driver can rear end somebody at the slowest of speeds.
Kim.
Well, talking with Justin Allgaier this morning, he said he felt like it was going to be a battle for the win between himself, Ty Gibbs, and Alex Bowman. And now with Bowman back towards the front, we'll see what these three do in terms of a tango. But Justin said there is an even bigger battle, the regular season championship. He felt like he was going to have the advantage over Nemechek and Hill. But look out, because they found themselves both in the top 10. Dylan.
Instruction to Sheldon Creed from his team: find the car's weakness in front of you and make the pass. Do not waste time. Sheldon said earlier this weekend we should run top 5 at every road course, but stuff always seems to happen to us. We've got to make sure that things go our way today, Marty.
And let's finish up the conversation with Steve here. This blistered left front tire for John Hunter Nemechek, a concern for you or not? Left front tires don't normally flat spot here, Steve. Would you be concerned by that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit concerning. I don't think the blister itself would call a failure, but now, to Marty's point, the left front normally doesn't flat spot with so many right-hand corners, but now if you do get it sliding on one of those blisters, that could be an instant flat tire.
Field approaching the Geico restart zone as the pace cars on pit road. Again, Alex Bowman will be the control car as he has cycled to the front on pit strategy at the caution coming out when he had already made his green flag stop. He was the only one to do so that is on the lead lap, so it's going to benefit him the most. Green flag back in the air. Gibbs on the outside of that first row going to outbrake the 17, trying to find a way around him. Bowman slides up the racetrack, and Gibbs has the lead anyway. Even in the not-preferred lane, he beats the 17 car through the first couple of corners, and now looking to drive away again as Allgaier is all over the back of the 17 for second. Josh Berry going to fall in line in fifth place as he cycles in between the 21 and the 2. Breaking up the RCR cars, Berry's got to run on Hill. Hill throwing a block, and then Berry back in line again, side by side a little bit further back in the field into the bus stop. We'll see if they make it through. 26 and the 18. Contact, Sammy Smith getting into the 26 car just a little bit of Kaz Gralla. Gralla's had some good runs on the road course races with that Sam Hunt Racing Chevrolet so far this season. Toyota, so far this season. Somebody hit a piece of debris right off the exit of turn 5. It looked like a piece of debris of something. Not sure what it was. It was in that excess pavement just on the outside of the curbing from the exit of the corner. And it was bounced around between a couple cars. Nobody pulling to pit road this time. No severe issue, it looks like. Sam Mayer going to get by Parker Kligerman into turn 1. Sammy Smith going to try to do the same. John Hunter Nemechek also trying to stay in front of Riley Herbst, who challenged him for 8th place getting into the first turn. But Herbst did not get off the exit of that corner quite as well as Nemechek beat him back through the gears. Still side by side for position is Gralla and Sammy Smith. This time in the S's, Sammy gets a little loose underneath the 26, trying not to make contact as they drag race into the bus stop again. Off the curb goes Smith. More contact made. Smith going to go a little bit wide. Hemrick's going to fill up that position now as he gets by Sammy, and now he is right behind Kaz Gralla looking for another spot. Hemrick on the bubble in the playoff battle so far, plus 50 coming into the day. Running outside the top 10 early despite qualifying well. Trying to make some of that ground back up. He'll get to the inside of Sammy Smith now into turn 6, but he'll be on the outside into 7 as he stays on the door of the 18. Going to try a little undercut crossover move and now pull to the bottom lane of the racetrack off the exit of the corner. Showing a replay of the restart on screen right now. And yeah, it did look like there was a little bit of contact between a couple cars. It looked like Sam Mayer and Riley Herbst got into one another. Herbst kind of cut the one car off. They made contact and almost caused a major incident middle of the pack. And yeah, there was a piece of debris that got hit and bounced around from a couple cars. I thought I saw that. Must not have gotten picked up following the incident from Josh Williams under the caution. Maybe it fell off of another car. I guess that could have been possible as well. Or a couple cars that got rear-ended. It was a little bit behind where everything got rear-ended though too, so I don't know. It could have been something separate really. 1 second lead for Gibbs already over Bowman. 1.3 seconds to be exact. As they approach the start-finish line this time by, we'll have 11 laps to go in stage 2. Sam Mayer, 3-car battle with himself, John Hunter Nemechek, and Sheldon Creed. Nemechek trying to win this battle on Creed as they battle for 7th through 9th on the leaderboard. Big run in the draft for the 20. We'll see if he pulls out a line into turn 1. He's going to go for it to the inside. Creed doesn't want to give up that many positions here. The 20 side swipes Creed. Remember, these two had a bit of a run in at Portland on a road course race earlier this season. Nemechek not giving Creed a lot of room there. Obviously bouncing into him as he makes the pass. But Creed not going to be close enough to try to retaliate as he's got more cars just behind him. He's going to try to more than likely end up playing defense on late in the stage. Especially with Parker Kligerman just a couple cars behind trying to close that gap. Creed outpointed Kligerman by 3 positions in that first stage, and he is up 3 spots so far in the middle going of stage 2 as well. Sammy Smith with the right side tires, Sam Mayer rather, right side tires on the curbing. Creed a little bit above it. Creed bounces off the curbing off the exit of the corner as he goes a little too far wide. Sam Mayer couldn't quite capitalize on that mishap there by Creed as he missed the exit of the corner just a bit. Mayer looking again all over the 2 to the inside into turn 7. The 2-car went a bit wide trying to arc his corner off. Gave up that momentum that he had lost in turn 6. Mayer has not cleared him yet, and they'll still drag race down into turn 1 as they side draft each other. Herbst closing in behind. Tight battle for position. Mayer going to make the pass on Creed. A clean one at that. Creed going wide again as he tries to get back to the gas as soon as possible off the exit of these corners with the extra pavement. Like turn 6, turn 7, and it's not really helping Creed's running position out very much as he continues to lose a couple spots. Lap after lap. Gibbs about 4/10 quicker than Alex Bowman the last lap, if you're wondering the intervals for the drivers at the front of the field. Bowman's fastest lap of the day was ran on the second lap following this restart. Same goes for Austin Hill, Josh Berry, and Cole Custer at the front of the field. Nemechek also at lap 30 with his fastest lap of the day. On screen, it'll be Daniel Hemrick and Kaz Gralla battling for position. On lap 31, caution flag is out now for the second time today. And it looks like there's a sign laying in the middle. Somebody took out the signage, it looked like, in the bus stop. Not sure who it was, but it caused a lot of debris. Yeah, somebody missed the bus stop. It was a 26 car. And there was a lot of water in that sign, too, that ended up getting blasted. Why do we have signs? Like, I understand that there's sponsorship, but can you find an area where there's signs like that you could put on the inside of a guardrail or the top of a guardrail or something, that it's not in the racetrack? I know it's in the grass, but in that instance right there, we could have ended up staying green if the signs weren't there. Didn't really do much damage to the 26. Both the signage and the grass. Definitely going to have to come to get the grass off the grill of the race car in that 26. Once again, we are under caution. Second time today. Both in stage 2.
Look at that. It's more damage. It wasn't just slight contact. I mean, that is some heavy, heavy damage. Headlights pushed in, hoods up. Can't be helping his view.
Maybe a little retaliation that we're seeing right here.
This is Kaz. Oh. Yeah, he feels that the 18, he's letting him know, hey man, I don't think that was just racing. I think you kind of sent me in there on purpose.
Marty.
Yeah, I think Kaz Gralla feels like that was the 18's fault, not his. Here's what he said on the radio.
So the 18 retaliated at me for him stuffing it in on me.
So there you go, Kaz Gralla not very happy with Sammy Smith. I'm sure Sammy Smith not very happy with Kaz Gralla. A little hate going on right now here in the Xfinity Series. Gralla will have to pit. The grass is just all over the grill. That's what they're talking about on the radio right now. So they will have to come down pit road here as he stalks right behind the 18 of Sammy Smith.
In the end, I think the 18 had more damage than the 26. The 26 is really just a grass issue, although the grill looks relatively clean under yellow.
Let's listen into the 18 radio.
I honestly didn't even mean to hit him, but I got some foot damage. He just checked up hard and stopped.
It's well done. Sammy Smith has been taking notes that even if you meant to hit him, don't say it over the radio. So I give Sammy credit. I'm going to take it for face value, so he didn't mean to hit it. Or he's at least clever enough as a young race car driver to not say it over the public airwaves.
See if anybody takes the right turn here onto pit road. And it looks like most of the front runners are going to stay out. Sammy Smith's going to go check out how much damage was to the front end of that, and Casgrala never gets old.
So under caution for the second time today, Casgrala missing the bus stop. Second caution to come out in the bus stop. We've had quite a few spins in that area of the racetrack as well today. Currently have about 130 people watching and 58 likes on the stream. Our goal is 100 likes. We're just shy of the halfway mark in today's race, but just over halfway to our goal. So be sure to hit that like button so we can reach that goal as soon as possible. Maybe we have a shot at getting to another goal before the end of the race. 27 cars on the lead lap still. The 24 of Connor Mosak going to get the free pass following this caution. As we have 50 laps remaining in the Shriners Children's 200 at Watkins Glen. Just a couple of cars came onto pit road during that caution. I believe I saw Daniel Hemrick come down behind the 18 of Sammy Smith. Smith with quite a bit of damage, but Hemrick looking to get off strategy a little bit. It's a one-stop race for everybody to make it on fuel to the end. Ty Gibbs looking like he's got the dominant car for the second consecutive week. Back-to-back road courses on the schedule, of course. Second to last road course race for the Xfinity and the Cup Series this weekend. The last of the regular seasons. The only races they have left on a road course or race track, I guess, they have left on the season for a road course would be the Roval at Charlotte, which will be in the playoffs for both series. Round of 12, I believe, for both of them. Stay right here with our coverage. They'll visit each other after the race. There's a very good chance of that. There's been a lot of unhappy campers, it seems like, over the last couple weeks in NASCAR. Xfinity and Cup Series, it seems. Drivers not liking one another. I don't know. We'll see how it goes down. Sign didn't do anything. But yeah, they can't be putting signs. I mean, we had this incident at the Roval which caused a caution like very late in the race. And they have to throw the yellow because there's a sign laying on the racetrack. But I don't know why they're able to put a sign like that close to the track that it doesn't take much for a car to go off, come back on, where if there wasn't a sign there, it'd easily be green flag conditions still. I know there's some grass kicked up, but that's not going to warrant a yellow. All right, pace car back onto pit road. We're going to have another restart. 7 laps left in stage 2. Gibbs in his preferred inside lane this time around. Waited to the end of the Geico restart zone to actually fire off, and he is easily going to clear the 17 as Bowman has struggled on the restart so far today. Couple of cars fanning out 3 wide into the first turn, nearly 4 wide, a little bit outside the top 10. They definitely were 4 wide, funneling each other out. Justin Allgaier door-to-door at the 17 car per second through the S's side by side. Not a lot of room here. Bowman all over the back of the 7, almost clips him as he tries to dive back in line. Both slowing each other up, and Austin Hill's got a head of steam, headed down into the bus stop in turns 4, and of course off the exit of that will be the inner loop in turn 5. Contact getting in with a couple cars. Sheldon Creed, Riley Hertz getting into one another, not the first time today. Kligerman on the inside of Creed. Creed is completely keeping that 48 car pinned down as tight as he can on the curbing on the inside of that right-handed corner. And he ended up going wide instead of the 48. The 48 gets around him. Not something Sheldon Creed needed. He is able to dive back in line. More battling for position going on. A couple of JRM Chevrolets. Josh Berry, Sam Mayer all over each other for 6th. John Hunter Nemechek just behind that. Pass for second going to be made into turn 1 as Alex Bowman going to outbrake Justin Allgaier. Gets by the 7 car. 17 going really wide, almost ended up in the guardrail, using every extra bit of pavement he needed to make that pass. Hill going to also get by the 7 in the S's And there's something going wrong right now with the 7 car, it seems, because now Cole Custer's all over him. After running second at stage 1, I don't know if he just lost momentum corner after corner or what's going on with Allgaier, but he has dropped well off the pace, getting passed by 2 cars in less than a half a lap and about to get passed by a third. Great racing we've seen today for position. Outside of the battle for the race lead, which has been a lack thereof, but everywhere else there is constant battling around this racetrack, which has kept it entertaining to watch throughout. And this race has flown by as we're almost halfway home. And this is only 8 laps shy of what the race will be tomorrow for the Cup Series. 2 cautions in the first half of this one. We'll see if we get another long green flag run, which will blend into the beginning of Stage 3, as well, of course, the end of Stage 2. 5 laps to go in the second stage as of right now. 1.7 second lead for Gibbs over Bowman. Last lap, he was about 2/10 quicker than the 17 of Bowman, but we'll see if that 17 car could find something and try to reel in the 19 over the course of the run, who was the odds-on favorite to win tonight's race, and so far has definitely been showing the pace to be able to get that win. We'll just have to see, obviously, if he can manage the restarts well. Of course, one more pit stop. Can't make a mistake on pit road. And can't make a mistake missing a quarter either, because that could result in a penalty. And see how that'll work itself out. Kyle Busch, who we haven't talked about much today, had a flat tire, which caused him to make an unscheduled stop right around lap 10 of this one. He got a couple of cautions to catch back up with the field. He is now up to 13th, right behind Daniel Hemrick at 6.9 seconds off the lead. Qualified 8th. Got up to 3rd pretty quickly in the running order, and now is trying to charge back into the top 10. We're down to 4 laps to go in Stage 2. Playoff bubble battle as we run. Sheldon Creed plus 18 points over Parker Kligerman. Creed in 11th currently. Kligerman is in 10th, running 1 spot ahead of him. But remember, Creed outscored him by a couple stage points in that first stage. Although Creed outside the top 10 now. Kligerman in 10th where he finished in Stage 1. So he's looking to get one of those points back here in a few laps. And that is a close battle for position as well, as there's a big gap between the 98 and the 48 on the racetrack. Looks like a full screen commercial break right now on the USA Network. Lap 37 of 82 in today's Shriners Children's 200 at Watkins Glen. Side-by-side commercial break, I guess it'll be. And now Riley Herb's having an issue. He's off the pace, and that will give a spot to both Kligerman and Creed. And Herbst may be on his way to pit road this time as he's getting blown by traffic. He had a lot of transmission problems earlier in the race. I wonder if his transmission is completely gone. All of a sudden, big playoff implications here for Herbst, who came in just over 40 points to the good. But with the other 2 drivers just behind him in points in the top 10, this is a huge problem, especially late in Stage 2. He's not going to get stage points in the second stage, and he's more than likely not going to get a good finish unless they can get a quick fix. Herbst making his way to pit road. Into his box, they've got 4 tires. They're going to go over the wall. They're going to change tires. So maybe he had a flat spot. We'll have to wait and see. Didn't take a very long time on that left side of the race car. We'll have to wait to see when they come back from the commercial break exactly what might have happened there. And they're underneath the back of the race car right now. Maybe it's a battery issue. I don't know. They're still on pit road. They've got the wedge adjuster in now. Crew members scrambling around. Definitely a lengthy stop. Major adjustment being made here for Herbst, but I don't know exactly what happened. So we're definitely going to have to get this well documented as to what went down. Crew members still going to work on the race car. While that happens, there's still a battle for that spot between Creed and Kligerman with 2 to go in Stage 2. That could be a 2-point swing between those positions here over the next lap and a half. So Creed's going to push hard to try to get by the 48. He's going to look to the bottom, but I don't think he's close enough into the bus stop to make the move. He'll go back to the outside to arc his corner entry off. Big bounce off the curb by Creed. Loses a little bit of time to Kligerman in the center of that set of corners. Trying to close again into turn 5. Kligerman going to pull him a little bit off the exit of the corner, so Creed's going to have to make sure he stays in the draft as good as possible. But Kligerman very good in the second half of this second to last lap of the stage. Creed hard into the braking zone in turn 6. Closes right back up on Kligerman again. And now Riley Herbst has a flat right rear tire. And I wonder if it might be an axle issue. There's a major tire rub, and it definitely looks like an axle issue. And one car is wide into the sand pit. It's Connor Mosack in the 24. And that is in turn 6. He's going to keep the hammer down, drive out of it. We continue to stay green. Major moment there for Connor Mosack. Second time today. He has had problems somewhere around the racetrack, this time under green. Ran into the back of another car under that caution period right at the end of stage 1, beginning of stage 2. So it definitely seems to be an axle issue right now for the 98 of Riley Herbst. He is slow again, and this is definitely going to do him in. He's going to have to pull that car to the garage. And 4 fresh tires definitely wasn't the solution to that issue. Ty Gibbs going to work his way past Herbst now as Herbst goes wide. In turn 6, just trying to stay out of everybody's way. He's going to merge into the pit lane now into turn 7. Justin Allgaier going to make a pass, it looks like, into that corner on Cole Custer. So a late stage point pickup there for one of the championship contenders. Justin Allgaier barely beats Custer back to the line for 4th. Ty Gibbs going to win stage 2. Alex Bowman 2nd. Austin Hill 3rd. Justin Allgaier 4th. And Cole Custer rounds out the top 5 in this stage. Sam Mayer at 6th. Josh Berry 7th. John Hunter Nemechek 8th. Sheldon Creed got by Parker Kligerman for 9th. And Kligerman ends up 10th. So that was a big 2-point swing there on that last lap of stage 2.
After each stage. Again, Connor Mosack, we saw him get into the gravel earlier. He was carrying our Toyota onboard camera.
Yes, this is heading down to turn 6, the left-hander. Oh, the 35 just moves him right. Looks like he gets his right sides in the grass. 35 is Stanton Barrett. And then, as Jeff says, he conquers the gravel. It looks like he just got moved over where his either right front, right rear, or the combination both get in the grass. Let's take a look. Yeah, you see the right rear's in the grass, trying to slow down. That makes him want to spin out. He turns back to the right, really his only option. And off he goes into the gravel trap.
He brought a little with him.
E180 Techno also welcome into the stream. Evan, also welcome. Tyler Cook, thanks for tuning in.
And I mentioned a little bit making it back out onto the track.
And Richard Fulmer, welcome to the stream.
They're chasing after the 0-0 of Cole Custer, and Custer now has moved up into the 4th spot.
Allgaier in 5th in the 7. You got Sam Mayer there in the 1 car. He right now is in the 6th position. That battle has spread itself out, but Cole Custer Jr. is starting to slowly march in on the Austin Hill car in 3rd.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting as Cole gets closer toward the front of the field if he can be able to take the challenge to Gibbs. Bowman's done a good job keeping that gap to Gibbs pretty decent. Nobody else has really had the speed of the 19 car. This 0-0, though, looks like he might have some for him.
It'll be interesting to see. He had to work really hard to get by Allgaier. Kept pushing him and pushing. He finally got by him. Gibbs still with that 3-second lead. He's out here being smart, making lap time, getting ready for tomorrow. Wants to win this race today in the worst way, but needs to win that race tomorrow. You can see a brake duct right here. It's right in front of you, Junior.
Yeah, it's more tire or more hose, brake hose. That could be front or rear. They run all kinds of hose all over these cars, but.
And that debris, I'm sure, Junior, isn't enough to bring out a caution, right?
Not enough. Not enough. We're good. Somebody's going to knock that out of the way, and we should be good to go.
Side by side, up through the S's. We see Bowman going by the lap car there.
Pretty interesting to see this 21 car of Austin Hill still keeping it close. The lap traffic's going to hurt him a little bit here. It's going to cost him a little speed through the bus stop. He'd love to be able to get around this 08. Will he get that opportunity? Yes, down here in the carousel. See, it's allowed to do double zero to close in just a little bit. That's a couple of car lengths that it cost him. Now Cole Custer feels like he's part of this battle.
Yeah, he's right there because of that lap car. Remember, Austin Hill announced this week that he is staying at Richard Childress Racing to drive this Xfinity car next year. Signed a multi-year deal. Kept hearing his name for Cup car rumors, but ultimately made the decision to stay with RCR and keep driving this Xfinity car, Marty.
Yeah, Jeff, I asked Andy Street, his crew chief, about that. He said, I'm thrilled to have him back for a third season. The jump we made working together, Austin Hill and Andy Street, from year 1 to year 2 was dramatic. I think we can take another step like that next year. Austin Hill's biggest problem, Bagman, is right here, the exit of turn 1. They're telling him that's where we're losing our time, the exit of 1 and up through the S's.
And problem number 2 is Cole Custer in his rearview mirror. He's got a handful right now, Austin Hill does. When he looks in that rearview mirror, he's got another black and make that a blue and white car. Cole Custer closing in even more, angling up to try to get a good run into the inner loop.
Yeah, sometimes the drivers will get out of line just to fool the person in front of them, thinking they're going to charge the braking zone, or also to get some clean, cool air into the brake ducts, into the radiator. As Cole's pushing this car harder, it's going to add some more of the brakes, more temperature's going to build. That's a great way to keep the temperature out.
And good speed from Custer on the exit of that carousel. That's what we heard. Austin Hill's team said he was struggling on the exit of 1. So also on the exit of carousel, both right-handers. So Cole Custer knows that. Trying to take advantage of him off turn 1, but to do it, you got to enter turn 1 very close to him.
And he's doing that right now as Cole Custer has closed the gap to about a car length. He'll look to the inside as they go into turn 1. That battle for third continues.
Custer underneath Austin Hill in a battle for the third place position on track. The running order through the top 10 at the start-finish line that last time by with 38 laps to go at Watkins Glen for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Ty Gibbs with a 4-second lead over Alex Bowman in second. Again, Austin Hill still in third. Cole Custer fourth. Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5. Sam Mayer in 6th. Josh Berry 7th. John Hunter Nemechek 8th. Sheldon Creed 9th. And Parker Kligerman is 10th. Final pit stop should be coming up very soon. Again, that fuel window 30 to 32 laps for today's race. And we are at 38 to go, so getting close, and obviously everybody pitted towards the edge of that pit window with that first caution towards the end of stage 2, or beginning of stage 2, end of stage 1 on lap 20, so they should all be pitting within about a 3 to 4 lap increment, if I had to guess, between that 28 to 31 lap to go mark in this race, especially when you consider the fact that a caution came out right at the beginning of green flag pit stops earlier. You're going to want to be the first car on as soon as possible, especially if you're one of the leaders, so you don't lose that vital track position and put yourself back in the field. Ty Gibbs has obliterated the field so far, winning the first 2 stages of the race. He has led all but 5 laps of the 45 that have been completed thus far from the pole. Dominant race car, dominant driver for the second consecutive week on a road course as well for that 19 team of Gibbs. They're trying to rack up the playoff points for the Owners' Championship. We'll take a quick break and then we'll get back to the live commentary stream the rest of the way. You're listening live for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Shriners Children's 200 at Watkins Glen for today's KRC coverage. We will close the poll at 90 votes as well for the end of Stage 2. You guys think Ty Gibbs will win today's race? 36% of the votes say that. 29% for Kyle Busch. Other at 26%. And Alex Bowman with 10% of the votes. Be sure to vote for tomorrow's race when we open up that live commentary poll. Again, we'll close that at the end of Stage 2 as well. We're under caution. A heavy impact looks like right around turn 7 for the 96 car. Bringing out our third yellow of the day. Not sure who's driving that car. They were involved in on-track contact earlier. Max McLaughlin in the 96 this weekend. One of the Xfinity Series road course ringers, I believe. Making a start. And looks like he is going to be headed to the garage whenever they can get that car on a tow truck. Major damage to the rear of the race car. Again, we are under caution for the third time. And a heavy impact in turn 7. Right as they were getting close to pit road, and it looked like he got loose Got sideways, backed it hard into the outside wall, really picked up the left rear of his race car up off the ground. Very vicious hit for McLaughlin. See it all off of the front bumper cam. Connor Mosak's race car was running behind him. Big time hit. Just got a little loose in the center of the corner, couldn't catch it, and slammed hard. AMR safety team is standing by. You can see him moving inside the race car, which is good. And he is out under his own power as well, so... Looks like Max McLaughlin is out under his own power. Good to see a pretty hard impact into the wall right at the edge of the fuel window as well with 36 laps to go. This could be a fuel mileage race all of a sudden here at Watkins Glen, which may not make Ty Gibbs the favorite anymore. We'll have to wait and see. Nobody's been able to touch him on race pace, but this could be the great equalizer. Pit road is not open yet, of course, with that incident in turn 7, which is the final corner on the racetrack, and all the AMR safety trucks are parked alongside the pit entrance lane, so this car's going to have to work their way around them to the outside. I don't think we'll see a red flag condition here, but there are quite a few safety trucks that are kind of blocking the corner. There's a lane to the outside for the cars to go around single file, but definitely not going to have pit road open this time. Pack that car full of fuel, because they're going to need it. And again, we will see who will win today's race. Man, oh man, oh man. This is definitely going to make things very, very interesting for what has been a dominant race for Ty Gibbs. We've seen a lot of great battling throughout the top 10 except for that race lead in today's race, but once again, right at the edge of the fuel window, which is 30 to 32 laps with this caution at 36 to go. Angel Ripple, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Arco was yesterday. Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Thanks for tuning into the stream as well. Or should I say, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Hopefully I didn't blow your ears out in the mic, by the way. But I saw his channel name a couple weeks ago, and I haven't said it like that yet. I had to make sure I got it. Son of Mike McLaughlin? I don't know. Probably not, no. Well, it could be. Maybe it's like CJ McLaughlin's brother or something. I don't know. Because I know of CJ McLaughlin. He's made some Xfinity Series starts before, but... Yeah, this Max McLaughlin, I've never heard of him. This might be his first career start today for all I know. I don't think I've seen him in the lineup at all this year. Now that I've noticed. Sherry Hicks, thanks for tuning in. What happened? 96 car of Max McLaughlin smoked the outside wall at turn 7. Got a little loose in the center of the corner and then ended up smashing the left rear of his race car into the wall. Picked up the left rear, really the rear tires up off the ground. I think when he made contact with the wall and bashed the fender in, the tire kind of hopped on the wall, and that's what caused the rear tires to come up off the ground, but still a vicious impact nonetheless. And again, he did get out under his own power, which is good to see. This is once again our... Whoop, my bad. This is once again our third caution of the race. And right at the edge of that pit window to make it on fuel the rest of the way. 35 to go now. Pit road's still not open. Every lap we run under caution before pit road opens, too. That's only going to make it closer and closer. Stanton Barrett, it looks like, is... actually, no. Chandler Smith in the 16 gets a free pass. Being a lap down most of the day. Had that early spin and then pitted. And got stuck a lap down with that caution back at lap 20. Took him a couple yellows later to get the free pass. But he's there now, and the reason for that is because he had a pit road penalty as well, which put him at the back of the longest line on the second to last restart because of driving through too many boxes when he was on pit road. So only adding insult to injury from him being a lap down. Smith has struggled as of late in the Xfinity Series. Not as much as Sammy Smith. We look at the point standings coming in. I didn't realize this till today, but Sammy Smith is 12th in points. I remember he was top 5 for a long time this season. Good thing he got that win at Phoenix early in the year, because otherwise he would actually be on the bubble behind Kligerman. But instead, because Kligerman is ahead of Sammy Smith and Jeff Burton, who both have wins and points, he's behind them in the playoff standings because, of course, Kligerman doesn't have a win, so that's why Kligerman was minus 17 coming into the day on Creed, despite 12 cars making the playoff field, and he came in again 11th in points overall. Part of the win and you're in portion of the points format for all three series. 34 to go this time by. We'll see if pit road will be open here and how many drivers will come down. I would imagine everybody will come down, but maybe drivers will stay out thinking there's no chance they can make it to the end, but that's risky because if we get any cautions the rest of the way, they can, of course, save fuel under the yellow. It looks like a fuel mileage race at Watkins Glen here in this NASCAR Xfinity Series events. Ty Gibbs going to lead everybody in the pits behind him.
Another. Dylan. Ty Gibbs, race leader, has had 0 complaints about his race car today. They'll change 4 tires and add fuel. Jason Ratcliffe, the crew chief, though, told him as soon as you leave the box, start saving fuel. It's going to be really close. Kim.
You see the 0-0 of Cole Custer in the middle. He said it has really good fire-off speed, just a little free at the end of the run, but not bad. I don't need changes. I just need track position. They're putting 4 fresh Goodyear tires on that Sunoco fuel, Marty.
The end of the run speed was the strength for Austin Hill in the first run of the day. They lost that speed on this run. He said the harder I push it, the freer it gets on exit, to the point Steve was talking about a moment ago with 34 to go. They cannot make it to the end, so we'll see what teams do if they take a splash and go coming up here in just a little bit. And how about that pit stop for Austin Hill's bunch? They gained 3 spots here on pit road, Rick.
So Hill wins the race out of the pits. Sheldon Creed also up 4 positions, so great job all the way around for RCR. John Hernimacek up 2 spots, and Kyle Busch back in the top 10, moving up 4 spots. He'll restart in 8th. Gibbs will be in 2nd after leading going into the pit lane, of course, moments ago. Looked like the 44 car went wide in turn 6. Oh, man, barely kept it out of the gravel pit. That was moments before the caution, of course. And he was locking his brakes up into turn 7 and an awkward angle getting in as well. And all the way back around into the pits. It must have happened just before the caution came out. Or they put oil on the track, which caused the 96 to wreck. I mean, I guess that's possible. I didn't see anybody else, like, slip getting through that corner outside of him. Tough to tell for sure. But definitely leaves there to be speculation. There were a couple cars that stayed out of the pits. The 08, the 4. LeBay is a lap down in the 08. The 4, I believe, is a lap down as well. Let me see here. Kyle Weatherman. No, Weatherman's actually on the lead lap. So I think they're staying out so that way they can go splash and go. Try to make it to the end and win that way. Or I don't think they're going to have the speed to win, but they're going to, with this pit strategy, hope that they can get a better finish than what they were running. So that's why we saw some back markers stay out. And then Brett Moffitt also stayed out, but he was in the garage earlier, so he's just looking to get a lap back. So I think the only car that is going to be on the lead lap of those that stayed out will be the 4 of Weatherman. And we'll see if they'll stay all the way out until the green or not. Again, they're expected to be outside the fuel window right now. We're 2 laps away from the edge of the pit window. Maybe they could save enough. Honestly, I would not be shocked if somebody ends up making it. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Not going to get the 1-to-go signal this time by. You almost wonder, the closer and closer you make it to the end of this pit window, if you potentially pit again right before they get back to racing. I mean, if you're at the back of the field, I'd be pitting every lap at this point. Trying to top off on fuel, maybe there's a chance. Especially knowing you're going to be off the pace of the leaders anyway, so you'd imagine you could save more fuel that way too, without pushing quite as hard. And then you're also going to have to be close enough to the back of the field that when Gibbs pits that you're going to be, or Gibbs, Hill, and all the rest of the leaders pit, that you're going to be able to cycle in front of them, because that's not a guarantee, obviously, being at the back of the pack either, especially with this being a road course. Front half of the field, yes, back half, I don't know. Going to cause a wreck, we'll see. Haven't seen any accidents on a restart yet today. We've seen some cars spin in the bus stop on restarts throughout the course of the race, but we'll see. 145 people watching right now. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 68 likes. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Our goal is 100 likes on today's stream. My dog just got done eating her food, so I will have to take her outside sometime soon. I don't think she's going to make it the rest of the race. 33 laps to go. By the way, I didn't give the diecast showing here for the end of Stage 2, but this is a diecast I got back in 2019 when I went to Watkins Glen in person. It was before I had the YouTube channel. Well, before that, here is Dylan Welsh with Riley Herbst in the garage.
Your thoughts, too, on your point situation now at just plus 15 as it stands?
Yeah, well, the transmission didn't take us out of the race. Unfortunately, I just kind of acted up all day from the first lap of practice to now, but I just landed into the carousel that last lap and track bar mount where it welds to the fuel cell just broke in half, so it took us out. But as far as the point situation, it's just frustrating. I don't think we should be in this position, Dylan, as it is, and so luckily next week isn't the cutoff line for the Xfinity Series, and we have some good tracks for us and good tracks for Stewart Haas Racing. I'm excited, but it's just frustrating that things like this out of our control keep happening, and it'll turn around one day, and when it does, we'll be happy.
Thanks, Riley.
Yeah, Riley, not involved in an accident. I had mentioned it in and out of the infield care center. He didn't have to go there. They had a car that broke, so he was in the hauler, came out and graciously chatted there with Dylan. As we look at the points, Herbst only...
Alright, so now into that diecast showing here before they get back to Green Flag Racing. This is the diecast I got at Watkins Glen back in 2019 when I was there, so I figured I'd show it during the Watkins Glen race broadcast. It is a Ryan Blaney PPG paint scheme from 2019. And here is a good look at the car. You can see the, as Dale Jr. would say, the huge-ass spoiler on the back of it with the 550 package. Of course, the first year of the Mustang coming into the NASCAR Cup Series as well. And I think a lot of fans really like this paint scheme universally. He doesn't really run the PPG car very much anymore. It's usually got a different scheme on it now when he or Cindric runs this sponsored car throughout the course of the year. But needless to say, pretty nice looking car, and one of the diecasts that I have of my favorite driver, Ryan Blaney. Lights are out of the pace car. 32 to go in the restart. Pit window. They're going to be right on the edge. Kyle Weatherman going to be the control car in the restart, staying out of the pits. He's going to be lined up right in front of Ty Gibbs, who surprisingly took the inside lane behind Weatherman, but Weatherman will be the control car. This is going to be interesting. Down into turn 1. Green flag back in the air. Weatherman gets a pretty good launch. Can Austin Hill get around him quick enough? Gibbs to the inside. 3 wide as they go into turn 1. He clears the 4 and the 21. What a move by Ty Gibbs. Making it look easy. 3 wide. Clears everybody cleanly. Weatherman stacking cars up into the S's now. Mayer has to get out of the gas as he almost gets reined into from behind by John Hunter Nemechek. They were also 3 wide just behind those cars in the middle of the S's before funneling themselves out for potential contact. Gibbs to the lead, Hill second, and the 17 of Alex Moment in third following the restart. A lot of cars side by side going through the bus stop. Kyle Busch, Sam Mayer are one of which that are doing so as they battle for 8th. Nemechek underneath the 4 of Weatherman, who blows turn 5. Mayer and Busch now going to try to get around the 4. Side by side between Sheldon Creed and Justin Allgaier, as Allgaier will hang on to 5th after he lost a spot or 2 in the restart. Mayer gets by Weatherman. Busch will be next into turn 7, and then Sammy Smith, rather. Kaz Gralla and Weatherman will fall outside the top 10 as Smith hangs out way wide off turn 7, almost getting into the wall. Kaz Gralla very close behind him. Those two had contact earlier in the day. And a slight disagreement with that said contact, leading into one of the earlier cautions of the race. So again, right on the edge of the pit window. Teams are more than likely expecting not to make it on field to the end, but who knows? Maybe somebody tries to stretch it and hope for the best. Nonetheless, it seems to be a fuel mileage race at Watkins Glen as we have 26 cars on the lead lap with 31 laps to go. A 1.1 second lead for Gibbs over Hill. Make that 1.2 seconds as he's quickly starting to draw out a bigger and bigger lead. Alex Bowman trying to charge for second. He was in second prior to the caution coming out. Hill's been pretty much running between that 3rd to 6th place spot most of the day, so the 17 car may be a bit quicker. And that Cup Series prowess for Bowman, of course, coming into play as well. He's going to have a good charge going down into turn 1, getting that draft down one of the longer straightaways in NASCAR. That main stretch by the flag stand at Watkins Glen. Allgaier to the outside of Cole Custer off turn 1. And not going to be able to work there, trying something different to get by that car in front of him. Austin Hill might be holding all 3 of these cars up as we've got 4 cars under a giant blanket for second. If they get to racing even quicker, Gibbs is going to pull away more and more. Custer going to be one driver to pull out of line in that group. Kind of faking on the 17, and that's going to keep, of course, the 7 at bay behind him. Through the bus stop, Bowman trying to make the 21 make a mistake so he can get an opportunity to make a pass for position and not allow Gibbs to pull away quite as quickly as he has done since the restart. Gibbs was 0.8 of a second quicker than Austin Hill the last lap. Nemechek underneath Sheldon Creed. Door to door. Creed on the inside of the 20 in turn 7. Sam Mayer behind both of them. Mayer into the back of Creed. Going to try to bump draft him here down the main straightaway. It's not going to give Creed enough of a launch to have a chance to get to the 20 car. And Mayer instead will dive underneath the 2 as they'll be side by side into turn 1. Mayer may have made contact with the 2. Very close. Creed's been crowding cars on the inside when he's had a car on his inside all throughout the course of the day. And he's going to end up getting himself turned one of these times if he continues to do so. He does hang on to his position on Mayer, who might have cut him a break in the S's as he seemed to have lifted and let the 2 in front of him. And after getting closed off quite a bit, it's amazing how much ground they lost to the 20 car Nemechek in front of him. And that gives Nemechek more room to just kind of drive his own line and try to figure out a way to catch up to the top 5, who are still battling, of course, 2nd through 5th, right behind Austin Hill, your current points leader. And Nemechek does not want to lose too many points to Hill, of course, with not that many races to go still in the regular season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Sheldon Creed locking the left front up into turn 6. Pushing hard as he's driving out of the rearview mirror. Nemechek onto pit road as we have a green flag pit stop at the edge of the pit window. Mayer, meanwhile, to the inside of Sheldon Creed as they'll go side by side into turn 1. This will be for 6th. Mayer, got to clear him. And here's Sammy Smith behind the 2 as well.
For Mayer, for Creed, and for Sammy Smith. They stack it up now, coming into turn 2. Sheldon Creed, having been bypassed by Sam Mayer, is trying to stay ahead of the Sammy Smith car. Come on.
Bagman, you see John Hunter Nemechek back in the regular season points, pitting here for fuel only. That will get them to the end. He can run hard, so that's an interesting dilemma, Junior. Do you pit here, or do you rely on cautions to get you to the end?
Yeah, that is a tough call to make.
So John Hunter Nemechek going to end up short pitting here, splash and go only while the rest of the leaders stay out on the racetrack at least for one more lap. We'll see if anybody else is going to try a strategy to try to get themselves in line. Austin Hill, a little bit of a gap he put on Bowman. Not much, just about 2 to 3 car length gap, but it was better than when Bowman was breathing down his neck about a lap and a half ago or so. And Cole Custer now right behind the 17, who goes a bit wide off turn 7. We'll see if Custer's going to have a run into 1. Sammy Smith also coming into the pits to make a green flag stop, as they don't think they'll make enough fuel either.
Yes, so there's also a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota leading the race. This has got to be a tough situation for Gibbs. Kim.
And this is strictly a strategy call. They told Sammy on the radio it's going to be fuel only to get him to the end of the race, as he has a little trouble there firing off. Fuel only for Sammy Smith.
Well, Dale, you bring up a great point. point. The difference now.
Anybody who pits between now and the end of the race, you'd have to imagine going to be fuel, only considering how little they have left. Quite a few drivers still staying out of the racetrack as we are in a fuel mileage situation race here with 27 laps to go at the Glen. Ty Gibbs with a 3.2 second lead as of right now, as he is out in front. Austin Hill in second, Alex Bowman third, Cole Custer fourth, and Justin Allgaier rounds out the top 5. Gibbs making his way through turn 6 right now as we're coming up this time by on 26 laps to go in the race.
But can't save enough.
Well, can't save enough, and it's really hard to save enough when you run roughly, 3 or 4 tenths of a second faster than everyone else. But for what they're here to do, why not? Run this thing out. Let's see where it goes.
Gambling, the option of a caution to come out.
Believe they'll head to a side-by-side commercial break. We'll keep our live commentary coverage going as of right now. Again, 26 laps to go. A fuel strategy race, to say the least. And it is going to be a fun battle down the stretch. Bowman definitely losing touch of Austin Hill, who has quickened up his pace. In that last lap, Hill was actually a couple hundredths quicker than Ty Gibbs. Maybe he's finding something. Maybe Gibbs backing off a little bit to try to conserve enough fuel to make it to the end. Again, we don't know how many teams are going to try to make it, how many teams are going to make the splash and go scheduled stop to the end. Just going to have to wait and watch. And it is just a race against time at this point to get down to that point, considering we still have nearly the full field run left as we have 25 long laps to go at Watkins Glen. But it is going to be a fun dilemma to see get situated in the closing laps if we stay green, which could realistically give anybody a shot of winning this race under the circumstances we are under. Andrea Fisher, thanks for tuning into the stream. Hopefully I said your name correctly. I apologize if I didn't. Rainer Martinez, welcome into the stream as well. Some of the newcomers over recent laps. Just over 150 people watching. We're up to 74 likes on the stream. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Our goal is 100 likes for the stream today. So again, we have well more than that watching right now. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't yet. I'll let you guys listen into the race broadcast for one of the few times, really, we have actually done that throughout the course of the race today when they come back from the commercial break, more than likely in less than a lap. Battle for third still going on right now between Custer and Bowman. Custer looking low. Looks like Bowman gets just enough of a drive off the exit of the corners that he can't leave enough open for Custer to try to make that hard charge on his corner entry to get underneath the 17. That was the case through turn 1 that last time once again as well as they battle out through the S's nose to tail and definitely losing more and more time to the 21 as it seems the 00 of Custer quicker than the 17. At this point, Bowman could be trying to save fuel a little bit as well, not running as hard as what he was before as he was in second pretty much all on his own for a while through the end of Stage 2 to the beginning portions of Stage 3.
Save your points, trade them in for free tickets or autographed merchandise. Maybe more options. Visit NASCAR.com/fan-rewards. Ty Gibbs with a 3.2-second lead. He's led 50 laps already of the 58 that have been run. Want to take a look at the Toyota driver update.
Yeah, it's a little unfair to Nemechek and Sammy Smith, 25th and 26th. That's because they've pitted, topped their fuel off, so we know they can make it to the finish. The real question now is the chess game has kind of begun already. We're hearing some whispers on the radio about saving fuel, limited RPM. You shift a little bit early, like you short shift at a lower RPM, that saves some gas. So if you're ever going to save a gas, the road course is probably the place you can save the most.
Watching the battle for third, coming up the hill right there. Alex Bowman in the 17, Cole Custer in the 00. Austin Hill has left them and has left them to fight amongst themselves for that spot, with Justin Allgaier following them into the inner loop.
Yeah, Bowman's fading just a little bit here, deeper into this run. Custer trying to be able to get around, get in some clean air. I think if he could get around this 17, he would probably drive away, maybe go up there and be able to battle Austin Hill. See Allgaier back there in the back, not able to close.
Yeah, Alex Bowman doing a really nice job of hitting his marks, not making mistakes. Cole Custer, I agree with you, Junior, has a little more speed, keeps showing the front of his car to Alex Bowman, but Alex hadn't gotten faked out by it. Just trying to apply the pressure at the right spot.
This might be the best spot of all, as he was right up next to the back bumper of Bowman, but now Bowman pulls away on the front stretch, and once again, Cole Custer will try to outbrake him, but he's just too far away to take advantage of that in turn one.
Cole Custer tried to send it on in there to the bottom of one, but he didn't have enough to get up alongside Bowman. He'll lose a car length actually in that little short straightaway before they got to 2. That's turn 3 right there, the left-hander. And again, Alex Bowman in control of this battle. Cole Custer doing everything he can to get to the back bumper, but he can't do it, at least not quite yet.
And we have to assume, too, that if the Gibbs cars are going to struggle to get to the end of this race on fuel, the rest of the field must have some concerns of some sort. So how hard is Cole Custer racing? How hard is the 17 racing? Just because Bowman's lost the back of Hill doesn't mean that he doesn't have the pace. He could be in fuel save mode.
That's a great point, Junior. Everybody with 22 to go probably does have to save a little bit of fuel. And how do you do it? You're just trying to stay off the throttle as long as you can. Try not to slow the car down too much in the corner so you don't have to recover with the throttle. Lift a little bit early and maybe not even go full throttle down the straights.
Just 21 laps to go in the race. Let's get a few updates.
We got a spin here in the carousel. The 78 has gone around, entering the carousel.
Will he keep it going?
He got it going there.
One more coming.
He refires. He keeps going. And Anthony Alfredo.
Go.
He just got a little bit behind there, Rick. Got over the curbs, entering the bus stop. Back in, started moving around on him. Could not get the car under control as he started to head into the carousel. Good job not hitting anything. All the competitors staying clear of the 78.
We stay green, and we'll continue with those updates. Start with Dylan.
And so for Ty Gibbs, even though they are short on fuel, the message to him has still been to save, because the more they save, the more fuel they'll have in the car when they have to come down for their final stop, and thus the less fuel they need to add and the less time they're going to spend on pit road. So that's the strategy for the 19. They're still telling him to save your tires. These are the ones that are going to be on to the end, Marty.
Just had a conversation with Andy Street, the crew chief for Austin Hill, the regular season championship leader, and yes, they saw John Hunter Nemechek top off with fuel. Street told me we're going to wait and see what happens. We're going to see if a caution comes out. If we do have to top off, it'll be late in this race. They are still 3 laps short, Dylan.
Alex Bowman behind him runs in the 3rd spot, said he feels like this is his worst road course, so he's trying to get some laps for tomorrow, where he's in a playoff battle on the Cup side as well. They are 1.5 laps to 2 laps short, so the message from Greg Ives to Alex has been the same thing. Just save here and try and get us to the end as he battles Custer for that 3rd spot, Kim.
And as we talk about Cole Custer, Tony came on the radio and said, we are at best 2 laps short. I need you to save as much as possible. Running behind him in the 5th position, Justin Allgaier. They told Justin, we are 1 lap to 1.5 laps short on fuel. I need you to back off for 30 feet until I tell you to stop.
All right, now Rick, 1.5 laps, that is absolutely obtainable. That is what makes having a Cup driver like Cole Custer. I know it's Xfinity full-time now, but he's moved up. He's been on the Cup side, and I don't mean just experience. More engineers, bigger organizations, you get more coaching on how to save gas. Cole Custer's going to have one of the best ideas. Bowman as well. This, when we talk about experienced drivers, it's just not how fast you could go. What else do you know? Well, these 2 drivers here, they look like they're so close because they are playing cat and mouse. They are just backing up, making sure they save gas. I'm shocked if Gibbs isn't saving gas, because he all of a sudden isn't the fastest car on the racetrack. And to circle back to the conversation of Nemechek, we wondered about his pace. Well, he has been roughly 1 second off the leaders since coming back out on the track behind traffic, as you see Custer and Bowman. Oh, well, this...
And they both go around, synchronized spins in turn 1, and Custer gets it going again, as did Bowman.
Right now, we were supposed to be saving gas. What were y'all doing?
Yeah, that was a situation where Cole Custer had been right on the back bumper driver of 17 of Bowman. It looked as though he was content with running there, trying to save fuel, until they came into turn 1, where both of them went in pretty aggressively. The 0-0 got into the 17, and they both went around.
Yeah, Cole Custer had put a lot of pressure on him. Even the lap before, he was underneath him. Right here, just outbreaks him and goes sliding through the corner. See, this is the lap before. And then Alex just drives underneath him and crosses him back over. And then this lap, the next lap where they end up spinning, the same thing. Cole Custer tried to drive in the corner, outbrake him, and he loses control. So Cole tried 2 laps in a row to make this pass. Look how far back he comes. He's out of control right here. Look at the car moving around. But the 17 moved down on him as well. Just hard racing. A little confusing. We talked that they're thinking they're saving fuel, but neither one of these guys at this point are saving fuel. They're racing hard.
Yeah, Jeff, to your point, it's like the 17. I mean, I don't know if he thought the 0-0 was going to get down there. He was so far back. I mean, because the 0-0 is all into the curb. Either way, both cars spin.
Yeah, the 0-0 hit the curb, and it kind of got him up the racetrack a little bit. The 17 thought he wasn't coming there, and they both just misjudged it some. But that thing happened for 2 laps, and now here's Custer in the grass. Yeah, trouble in turn number 3 for Cole Custer. He's off in the grass. He spun around. He's facing the other way. He's trying to get the car going. A little wet grass from the rains of a night ago, and he's still trying and trying and trying to get back onto the course. He's going to make it. He has given up a lot of spots. But most importantly, he has given up a ton of time on the stop line. Just watching Cole Custer coming up to the S's here, and he got offline coming into 2. And when he got offline, the car darted drivers left right into the grass, and at that point, it was too late for Cole. The damage has already been done, not only to the car getting off of the racetrack, but trying to get back on the racetrack and trying to make up that lost ground in what was looking like to be a top 5 afternoon here with Cole Custer.
Rick, I normally blame you, but I think I jinxed Cole Custer. I was just talking about his experience level, and here he is at 2 altercations.
Gibbs still with a 3.7-second lead over Austin Hill. 17 to go.
Another NASCAR nonstop commercial break. We'll go through the full field running order rundown for the final time today with 17 laps to go. Ty Gibbs has a 3.7-second lead over Austin Hill in second currently. Sam Mayer is in third, Justin Allgaier fourth, and Alex Bowman now in fifth following that spin. Sheldon Creed in sixth, Kaz Gralla seventh, Kyle Busch eighth, Daniel Hemrick ninth, and Parker Kligerman is 10th. Josh Berry in 11th, Sage Karam 12th, Brandon Jones 13th, Ryan Sieg 14th, Chandler Smith 15th, Ross Chastain in 16th, Connor Mosack 17th, Brendan Poole 18th, Cole Custer 19th, and Jeb Burton in 20th. 21st, John Hunter Nemechek after he has already done a splash and go pit stop. Kyle Weatherman in 22nd, Kyle Sieg 23rd is the last car in the lead lap. Sammy Smith 24th, first car lap down, also went with a splash and go pit stop. Parker Kligerman in 25th, Joe Graf Jr. 26th, Alex LeMay 27th, Josh Bilicki 28th, Anthony Alfredo 29th, Stanton Barrett in 30th. 31st, Brett Moffitt, Stephen Parsons is 32nd, Ryan Ellis 33rd. 34th, Max McLaughlin, Riley Herbst will finish 35th, Josh Williams 36th, Jeremy Clements 37th, and Blaine Perkins will round out the field in 38. Just under 2 hours into the race today, current average race speed of 91.08 miles per hour. Ty Gibbs has led all but 8 laps in today's race. He won the first 2 stages. We've had 3 cautions for incidents so far. Of course, Gibbs qualified on the pole, but the big dilemma here is fuel. Who has enough to make it to the end? Who doesn't? We'll have to wait and see. We'll take our final ad break of the race. You're listening live KRC on the NASCAR YouTube channel. Well, not NASCAR's YouTube channel, but my YouTube channel. That warrants NASCAR content. But anyway, we'll take our final ad break, and be sure to hit that like button. Our goal is 100 likes, still at 78. Looks like the splash and go pit stop for Cole Custer is underway now that he has spun a couple times and definitely has taken himself out of contention if he were to just stay out to the end. He'll blend back into traffic, and I don't believe he's going to be on the lead lap anymore if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. We'll wait for the leaderboard to update once Ty Gibbs gets back to the start-finish line next time by. Battle for position going on right now between Kyle Busch and Josh Berry as a battle for 10th, just behind Parker Kligerman.
has been Ty Gibbs. A dominant day for him. 59 laps led. He's got a 3.6-second lead over Austin Hill. The question is, does he have enough fuel? We're about to find out. Again, 15 laps away from that. With more on the 10 of Kyle Busch. Here's Marty.
Yeah, Kyle Busch just lost the spot to Josh Berry just a moment ago. You can see the 8 car in front of the 10. He radioed to the team, third gear is out. So what would you do then, Dale Jr., if you don't have third gear here? It's kind of tough to get around Watkins Glen without that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you basically just skip from second to fourth, and you'll lose a ton of speed climbing the hill up the S's. We saw him get past in the S's earlier. I wasn't sure if he was just saving fuel, but obviously not able to drive that car up the hill like the other competitors without third gear.
That's such a disadvantage. Even when you get in fourth gear, the only time you get into it really is at the very top of the hill, and the rest of the time you're mostly in third gear. So, yeah, Kyle Busch is going to be very difficult to be able to make lap time here.
Kyle Busch right now running in the 11th spot, falling a little bit further back behind Josh Berry. In front of him as Berry slides coming out of turn number 1.
Watch and see what Kyle does coming up the S's here. It's a difficult ask with no third gear, and he does continue to lose ground to Josh Berry, just trying to nurse this car home with less than 14 laps to go.
But the other side of that is it's almost a forced save for fuel. So it's like forcing him, if you were going to save fuel, fourth gear all the way around this track, second, fourth gear, I mean, that would be a way to save more than anyone else. It's probably not going to be able to make the lap time that he wants. But look, he's hanging on to the back of this 8 car. If he's able to lift earlier for the braking zones and also using fourth gear, he's going to probably save as much, if not more, than anyone else going around this racetrack. Could pay off in the end trying to get to the finish.
That's a positive outlook for a tough situation for Kyle Busch. Again, no third gear.
So, Rick, when I look at the running order, you have Gibbs and Hill, who are kind of out there a little bit. But Mayer and Allgaier, right now, when I look at the pace for the last 5 or 6 laps, they are a second off what I think we have seen them run, which tells me that they are aggressively trying to save fuel. Probably think that's their best option at the moment.
Watching Sheldon Creed, watching Kaz Gralla. That is the race for 6th and 7th. That's 18 seconds behind race leader Ty Gibbs in a private battle right now, heading up the backstretch.
Yeah, right there, Bowman in front of him. Spun earlier down in turn 1 with the 0-0. He's rejoined in front of these guys. And Creed's having a great day. He's lost a lot of spots on some restarts late in this race, but sitting right here with a top 10 finish in his hands. Got a good fast car once they get going. Trying to close this one out with about 12 laps to go.
Yeah, and also Kaz Gralla, remember, he was through the grass, knocking the Go Bowling pins down, and he is still continuing to fight. Kaz, in these road races, shows his ability. Finds himself in the top 5, racing top 7, top 8 a lot. Doing a good job again today.
Steve, different with these cars as far as if they're going to run out of gas. We see the 21. He's made the decision to come in front of you, Marty.
Yeah, coming down pit road. The surprise here to me, Steve, is they're going to go with 4 Goodyear tires, and they had trouble getting the other side of the car up, fuel to make it to the end. But are you surprised they're going with 4 tires here? Nemechek, his rival for the regular season points, went with no tires, fuel only on his stop.
Well, I'm surprised they went with 4, but Nemechek really didn't run a whole lot faster. He actually lost some time, so maybe they are just racing against Nemechek. It'll be interesting to see where this 21 blends versus the 20 itself, right? So I think they're going to be okay against the 20. Plus, not only are they going to come out in front of Nemechek, but easily in front of Nemechek, actually. You see the advantage of waiting to pit versus what the 20 did for gas only. Plus, if they have a late yellow, now they'll have more grip.
Steve, why so long on fuel? They only needed a couple laps of fuel. Why would they have stayed so long and you changed all the tires?
Well, if they got to change all the tires anyway, they're just racing the 20. So if you look at the upper right in the map, as we see this battle between Kaz Gralla and Sheldon Creed, the 21's racing the 20. The 20 came in and took gas only, went to the back and was slow back there. So they basically gapped it. They know they can come on pit road, takes about 40 seconds to come down pit road, change tires, and go back out. That was the magic delta number. They came out in front of the 21. In front of the 20. So right now, when I look at the running order, the 21 of Austin Hill, first car that without a doubt can make it on fuel. Now, I think some in front of them are going to save enough, but it's going to be interesting 11 laps to see who can make it.
Hill running in the 15th position. Nemechek is 19th. Gibbs, can he make it? Less than 11 to go here at the Glen.
I'll take it from here to the end of the race. We got a squeaky toy squeaking in the background. Ty Gibbs, currently your race leader. He's got a 15.4 second advantage over Sam Mayer in second. Surprisingly, Austin Hill pits there. They were definitely expecting not to make it on field at the end of the race. This gives Ty Gibbs plenty of time to save fuel if he so chooses to do, because if he ends up pitting, we really don't know who can or can't make it to the end. We were expected to be short on fuel for everybody who pitted during that last pit stop, but we just don't know for sure. As for how much time he'll end up losing, for instance, Austin Hill is 15th after making a 4-tire stop. A couple drivers within about 40 seconds of the leader. I'd probably say Sage Karam at 12th on up. 35 seconds off the lead, and that's even pushing it considering he's going to lose more time now to the end of the race. That even if Karam makes it on fuel, he's going to be borderline on actually cycling out ahead of Ty Gibbs. So that is kind of what we're looking at right here to the end. Again, Gibbs was a few seconds ahead of Hill. Now the thing is Gibbs is going to have a shorter pit stop as well. So you can maybe also factor that in. You're going to have to be within the top 10 to be able to make it on fuel and still win the race, considering how big of a lead Ty Gibbs has. And he's only growing the lead. I mean, that last lap, Gibbs was 0.7 of a second quicker than Sam Mayer once again. And a good job by Mayer today as well. He's ran good on the road courses this year, but obviously the win at Road America, now running P2 in the late going to this race. And race leader Ty Gibbs is on pit road right now. Interesting here. So splash and go for your race leader. Ty Gibbs are going to pit now. Sam Mayer is going to take the lead, and we'll see where Gibbs will cycle out. They're just going to get their pit stop done and over with now, and I think they thought that they were going to be so short on fuel that they were going to cycle out ahead of the 21 while he's got the fresher tires now, race him. And we'll see where this is going to put Gibbs. And can Austin Hill on fresh tires overcome enough of his gap on Ty Gibbs? That is going to be interesting. Now, Hill is quite a ways behind. Gibbs is getting up to speed in the S's right now. Hill just hitting the start-finish line, so obviously 4 tires has put him back in traffic some. I mean, he probably had a nearly 10-second longer pit stop than what Gibbs had. And now it'll be Sam Mayer out in the lead with 9 laps to go. Gibbs is... we'll have to wait and see where Gibbs is in the running order. It looks like he is 6th. So he has cycled ahead of Kligerman. He's only 8 seconds behind Sam Mayer, but now he can go hard. Everybody else is saving fuel. Gibbs can go hard to the very end. So Ty Gibbs is in 6th. He's got a bunch of spots right in front of him. Sheldon Creed. Alex Bowman. Gibbs to the inside of Creed. In turn 7, Creed crowds the 19. Looks like the 26 of Gralla from 4th place is just pit. So that's a free spot for Gibbs. Gibbs is still trying to get by Creed. Back to the bottom again into turn 1. Clears him. And the 19 car is back up to 4th with 8 laps to go. 8 laps to go in this race.
About 4 laps short. They went as far as they could. Nice recovery for Gralla, though, after the excursion through the grass. Also, Daniel Hemrick on pit road in front of you, Dylan.
And I think they thought they could go a little bit longer, but now they're changing tires and they've got a hiccup on the right side, so this is going to definitely cost them a lot of time for Hemrick.
Oh, no.
Look up underneath there. Dana, take it out of gear and put it back in gear again.
Problems on the right side of Hemrick's race cars. They still have the car jacked up. He's going to lose a lot of time on pit road with just 8 laps remaining in the race. Ty Gibbs also just passed Alex Bowman in the midst of those couple cars that were on pit road, so Gibbs is back into 3rd place. He is 6.3 seconds behind Mayer and Allgaier, who are 1-2 at the front of the field. Allgaier is only a couple car lengths behind Sam Mayer. 7 laps to go. Does Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier have enough to make it on field to the end? Gibbs, who does have enough to make it to the end, is 6.2 seconds back and was nearly 2 seconds quicker than Sam Mayer that last lap, so you can definitely tell he's holding off. 7 to go. Caution is out. The 31 of Parker Retzlaff has stalled. He's trying to get out of the gravel pit in turn 6. You can see the rear tires moving. And he is just stuck. He is beached. He's trying to get out. He can't. And a late caution with 7 to go is going to change everything. Because now those drivers that were going to be short on fuel to the end of the race can choose to pit for 4 fresh tires. And Ty Gibbs, who had already pitted, granted he's in 3rd, so he wouldn't lose too many more spots, but he is in a tight spot where he's lost a bit of track position, and we will see what the strategy is going to be like going forward as Retzlaff just went straight into turn 6. I don't know if he had a brake issue or just completely missed the corner. I would imagine if he had a brake issue, he probably would have not gotten the car sideways like that going into the corner, or just kept going straight into the tire wall, but that wasn't the case. And I wonder if it was another axle issue for the 11 of Daniel Hemrick, which is why they were underneath the right side of that race car. We saw a similar issue with the track bar, a track bar issue with Riley Herbst in the day. And then I think there was another car that also had a track bar issue very early on, Jeremy Clements in the 51. So that's the 3rd track bar issue that we have seen in the race. If that is more than likely the cause of Hemrick having to come back down on the pit road again.
The body kind of shook on the rear end of the race car, so that is what they're looking at here right now, just to try and figure out exactly what the problem is and if it's something related to the track bar or something like that.
You know, you see the crew member shaking the body back and forth. So the track bar, basically named for that, because it tracks the rear end housing. As the rear end housing travels, something has to keep it centered, left to right. The truck arm is basically connected to the middle of the car, but it can, it can go left or right. The track bar is what does that. And when one breaks, the rear end housing moves left to right. So obviously something mechanical that can't be repaired on pit road. The 11's going to go behind the wall.
Tough break for Hemrick. This is going to drop him in the points a little bit. He's plus 31 as we run right now. Herbst is plus 8 as we run right now, with obviously Sheldon Creed and Parker Kligerman running in the top 10. Creed in 5th, Kligerman in 8th. Have stayed out of trouble to this point, both mechanically and just not getting in any late spin. This is a caution that hurts both Alex Bowman and Cole Custer, because they had spun battling for 3rd earlier in the run. If Bowman didn't spin, he probably still would have been ahead of Gibbs at the time of the caution, which would have had him 1 extra spot ahead. And he was already running higher in the running order than the 7 of Allgaier anyway, leading up to that spin. So definitely not a good thing to happen for Bowman, but at least he was able to get it regathered quickly, that he only lost a couple positions out of it. And again, we are going to have to wait to see when pit road is more than likely going to be open this time. It was closed that last time when they went through turn 7. But whenever they open pit road, who will pit, who will not? There were drivers that short pitted that are definitely going to stay out, get track position back. Those would probably be Nemechek and Hill. Ty Gibbs in a situation where he's in 3rd, so he may still end up pitting for tires here. But then you don't know if everybody in front of you is going to take tires or fuel only either to try to get track position, so it is going to be a very interesting strategy call. And for Ty Gibbs, who had pretty much won this race just based off of speed alone, is now going to be in a circumstance where that maybe not is the case anymore. At least they're as sure of a lock. He's been great on the restarts. So, I mean, even if he's within the first 2 rows, you'd have to think he's still the favorite to win the race. He's going to stay out. Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier stay out. A lot of cars coming into the pits, so Mayer and Allgaier are going to try to push it on fuel to the end. Kyle Busch is going to stay out. Of course, Hill stays out. Nemechek back in, even though he already pitted. Hill has fresh tires already, and he's going to be in 5th.
Put some tires on. Make sure you're good to the end. They'll have fuel. Change 4 good years for Alex Bowman. Parker Kligerman also in. They were going to, I think, try to stay out there. If not for that yellow, it was going to be really close, but they'll make no adjustments. Just adds up 1 can of Sunoco fuel on the 48.
Going by the 31 of Parker Retzlaff after he just got out of the gravel pit.
So once again, under caution for the 4th time today. 5 laps remaining as we run right now. The 31 of Parker Retzlaff got stuck in the gravel pit in turn 6. And he was stalled out. He was trying to get it out but needed assistance, so that is why we are under caution. And it has split the strategy up big time. We'll go through and break down those strategies before we get back to racing here shortly. So Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier stayed out completely. They're going to be pushing it on fuel to the end of the race, but they're going to try to make it on fuel, so they stayed out. Ty Gibbs is good on fuel. He already ended up making his stop, splash and go, but he is on old tires still. Kyle Busch stays out of the pits. He'll be 4th. He's on the same strategy as Mayer and Allgaier. Problem, though, for Busch, he's having transmission issues with 3rd gear, so he's having to shift from 2nd to 4th, so he's probably not going to be quite as quick as those other guys, yet is in contention nonetheless. If some issues happen in front of him, Mayer, Allgaier run out, and maybe Gibbs gets in trouble on the restart. Kyle Busch could be there for the taking. Austin Hill in 5th. 4 fresh tires when he made his stop. Now, he does have roughly 10 laps, 5 to 10 laps on his tires. So they're not completely fresh, but they're still fresher than the 4 drivers that'll be in front of him on the restart. Brandon Jones stays out. He needs points desperately, minus 65. Couple drivers on the cutoff line, of course, with Hemrick having an issue recently, just leading into the caution, and then as well as problems earlier in the race for Riley Herbst. He can gain some massive points there. Sage Karam also stayed out of the pits. Cole Custer came in, took tires, so he's basically the same strategy as Austin Hill. He pitted a little bit after Hill, but similar strategy. You got to go back to, I think, Kaz Grala in 11th. Grala Nemechek, 11th, 12th, will be on the freshest tires. They're going to be 6 rows back in the field. We're going to have 4 laps left around this 2.45-mile road course. And this is going to be a wildly fun and chaotic finish to this Shriners Children's 200 at the Glen for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream if you guys have not done so yet. We are 14 likes away from the stream goal of 100 likes. So again, 14 likes away from our goal. Be sure to smash that like button here as we have 4 to go in the restart. We have just under 200 people currently in the chat watching. The field will be going green this time by. The pace car will head to pit road. Sam Mayer on the inside lane for the restart. Ty Gibbs, who went from 3rd to 1st on the last restart, going to try to do it again, and he needs to do it quick because Austin Hill's going to have fresh tires, and he's lined up in the row right behind him. Gibbs has dominated the race today, winning the first 2 stages and leading 64 laps. We'll see if he can lead the most important laps as we come to a close. Green flag back in the air at Watkins Glen. Gibbs pulling out. Mayer saw that initially, almost stuffed him into the inside wall. 3 wide for the lead as they go into the first turn. Gibbs is going to clear the 1, and the 7 goes wide. Allgaier overdrives the corner. Busch is wide as well, and here comes Gibbs as he's underneath Sam Mayer, I should say to the outside of Mayer. Mayer's trying to hold on with the 19 car as much as he can. Gibbs stuffs him almost into the guardrail, and the 7 runs into the back of the 1. Austin Hill's going to move his way to 2nd on the fresh tires. Can he run down the 19 of Gibbs? Cars bottlenecking 2 and 3 wide into the bus stop. Are they even going to make it through there? Mayer and Hill making contact as Hill is finally clear. Allgaier's around in turn 5, and there's a huge crash as cars are trying to get around him. Brandon Jones runs heavily into the back of the 7. The 17 of Alex Bowman is around as well. And the caution flag is out again with 4 laps to go. Our 5th caution of the race. Major debris down in turn 5 where the heavy impact came. And Brandon Jones, if he wasn't in a must-win situation to make the playoffs before, he definitely is now. Tough break for Kaz Grala, who ran top 10 all day today. He's got significant damage to his car, which will put an end to the day. There was a lot going on there. We're going to try to break it down as quickly as we can. Gibbs went to the bottom 3 wide for the lead on the restart. Allgaier just completely blew turn 1. And as a result, allowed Gibbs to get by him. Mayer was able to get back alongside Gibbs into the S's. Gibbs cut him off. Basically used him up, and then Mayer had to lift to keep it off the guardrail. The 7 got into the back of the 1. 2 and 3 wide into the bus stop. Gibbs was pulling away. Hill was trying to get around the 1 because he had fresher tires. But then further behind them, there was contact, it looked like, between Custer and Allgaier, which sent Allgaier around. Custer got into the right rear corner panel of the 7, and then he gets slammed into by a couple of cars from behind. Raina Jones, Kaz Gralla, and there was another car that sideswiped Allgaier, trying to get by him as well before the caution ultimately had to come out in that blind corner. And Custer might have even had contact from behind him, which forced him into the 7. It was hard to tell from that angle, but that could have been the case. Everybody going for everything on a late race restart, and this is going to push us into an overtime finish, which for those drivers that stayed out of the pits, both under green and during the caution, is going to mitigate their chances of being able to make it on fuel, like Sam Mayer. Really, Allgaier just crashed, and Busch fell to the back of the restart immediately, having those transmission issues and also going wide in turn 1. I don't know if he did that intentionally or not, but that's going to move those drivers with the 4 fresh tires a little bit closer to the front of the field now. Parker Kligerman in 5th, I think, is the highest in the running order of those that pitted during the caution for tires. So Kligerman in 5th is someone we can look out for. And Ty Gibbs went splash and go, as well as Cole Custer. No, Custer took tires, so they might have a little more fuel. Gibbs is probably going to have less fuel than everybody else at the front for an overtime restart. They went splash and go. I think he was on pit road for about 5 seconds. Is that enough fuel to get through an overtime restart? That is the question.
So that is a great, fired up young race car driver, and I loved that was Kevin Hamlin who said, listen, I hear you, you're not wrong, but let me tell you, this is Kevin Hamlin who spots on Sunday, who's won races on Sunday, who says, if I'm spotting the leader, being Ty Gibbs, I'm telling him to do exactly what he did to you. So I know you're mad. This kind of goes back to the Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson thing at Pocono, right? What is acceptable, what is not? I loved how Kevin Hamlin didn't fire his driver up more. He didn't add fuel to this fire, right? He was factual, honest, and Sam Mayer responded with, okay, then I need to go get there. I mean, that was really well. This one car has really kind of turned a corner in my mind, right? He's always finding his way now to the finishes. He used to have some issues before that. So we'll see now. Now it's up to Sam to see if he can get a little momentum on the start. Hopefully he has enough fuel to get it all the way back around to the finish.
He said 10-4. To that information that was delivered. Yeah, Parker Kligerman, well, he was 16.
Alrighty. 5 likes away from our goal. We're going to have a late race restart again. And this time, we are headed to NASCAR overtime. Of course, returning NASCAR fans watching the stream probably already know how the overtime rules go. But if you don't know, when the race leader takes the white flag following the restart, then the next flag ends the race, whether it's the yellow or the checker. If the caution comes out before the race leader gets to the white flag, then we'll have another restart. Limited attempts until we get at least to the white flag. Like Alex Bowman at the back there. He spun. He didn't have much damage. He's going to be able to continue, and I think Allgaier's probably going to stay in the race as he remains on the lead lap following significant damage to the back of his car. Kyle Busch is completely pulled off the racetrack, I believe, as he is 2 laps down in 23rd, as he was not involved in that incident. So Gibbs will be the leader. He's dominated this race in the laps led total. He has led 66 laps and counting as we're under caution right now. The next closest is Sam Mayer with 6, and it was during that green flag pit stop sequence. Now, Mayer is going to have less fuel to make it to the end than Gibbs. So the longer Mayer stays out, the more likely I'd like to believe that Gibbs can make it. But if Mayer runs out, then we're looking at Gibbs potentially running out. But needless to say, Gibbs is going to have more fuel than Mayer to the end. Mayer's going to be 3rd on the restart. Outside of Gibbs and Mayer, everybody else should be easily good on fuel. easily good on fuel here for this overtime for everybody except for the 19 and the 1. But the 1's going to have less fuel than the 19. Just over 2 hours from the start of today's Xfinity race at Watkins Glen. One of the longer Xfinity races of the season. And it has been a pretty fun race. And even more thrilling down the stretch with the fuel situation in Stage 3. These late race restarts getting intense as well on top of that. And we still have a fuel situation, of course, with the 1 and the 19. And get the drivers on fresher tires. Find a way to get by Ty Gibbs. Gibbs has been dominant today. 3 to 4 tenths of a second. A lap faster than pretty much everybody in the field, if not more, depending on how far back those cars have been. But is he going to be that quick still with everybody on fresher tires behind him? Of the drivers that do have fresher tires, Parker Kligerman on back and 5th on back are going to have fresher tires than that of Cole Custer and Austin Hill, who pitted during green for tires, but they're going to have about 10 laps or so on them. Gibbs' fastest lap of the day was back on lap 2, so even those restarts he was able to get to the lead on fresher tires. He still ended up cycling himself to the front, but hasn't ran a fast lap since that opening lap, or a fastest lap. It was a 71.882. He's the only driver to run a lap time in the 71-second lap barrier. The next closest, fastest lap of the race, I believe, is Austin Hill, who was in second and ran a 72.695 on lap 54. I don't see anybody else that ran. Allgaier ran a 71.830. Actually, so Allgaier has the fastest lap of the race. That was also on lap 2. So it seems like as a track has taken rubber, the lap time has kind of fallen off a little bit over the course of the race. Gibbs is going to have to run some fast ones late, that's to say the least, if he's going to want to get away from Austin Hill, who is trying to go for his 5th win of the year and try to get himself closer to a regular season championship, as he leads John Hunter Nemechek by 9 positions currently, and he came in with an 11-point advantage. Allgaier, who was in contention for that regular season title as well, has now crashed. He's at the back of the lead lap, but still in the race. Currently scored 20th with severe damage to the back of his race car. We have yet another lap under caution to be ran. This is less likely for Mayer and Gibbs to make it on fuel to the finish, with the safety crew still picking up debris in turn 5. Speedy Dry getting laid down on the racetrack as well from cars that had damage that could have been leaking fluid. Gibbs trying to go for back-to-back wins in the Xfinity Series after coming off a championship in this series a season ago. Kathy Vincent, thanks for tuning in. Eric Church, welcome to the stream. Rick Craver, Belinda Leverett, Big Dog, and a lot of others. Dan Bowers, thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a fun ride to the finish of this race. We've got about 200 people watching. If you're wondering what time our live stream begins tomorrow for the Cup Series race, it will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow will be our live commentary coverage. Sorry, the race starts at 3. Our live stream begins at 2:30. I apologize for that. 2:30 is when we will go live for tomorrow's stream, not 3. So a 2:30 live commentary stream for the Cup race tomorrow. I'll also be doing a NASCAR 7 live stream before that. Next race on the Cup Series season on that game is Talladega, so that should be a fun one. So actually doing a doubleheader with streams tomorrow. So be sure to tune in for that as well. We have hit our goal of 100 likes. We are at 101 currently, so greatly appreciate that, everybody. Still hit that like button if you haven't done so yet, as we have almost double the viewers watching. Compared to that, lights are still on the pace car for now. I believe on the road courses they have until about half a lap to turn them off. King Cheesy 615, thanks for tuning in. As a Cheesehead fan, I appreciate that name. I don't know if it has anything to do with the Green Bay Packers or not. Their second preseason game was today, so hence the Packers get up for the stream. And 150 is going to be, I mean, we definitely have enough people here to get to 150. So why not? Let's run that like counter up even more. Still under caution, still awaiting the potential final restart as we're about to have our first overtime finish. Overtime restart, I should say, to attempt to get to the finish of this race. Trouble in turn 5, taking a few cars out of it. A couple JRM Chevrolets of Brandon Jones and Justin Allgaier. Wiping Jones out of any sort of shot of trying to point his way into the playoffs. He's going to have to win a race now. I mean, they have Daytona next week. There's a chance he can gain a ton of points there, but he's going to put himself even further back now than what he was going in. His 65 back. And Creed, who was the last driver above the cutoff line coming into the day, is in 8th. It was top 10 at the end of the first 2 stages, if I remember correctly. I think he was 5th at the end of stage 2, so definitely tough. Still have not gotten the one-to-go signal. And if you're the driver of the one car, Sam Mayer, you got to be thinking, man, we got to get this thing going green. Same goes to really for Ty Gibbs, too. I'm assuming, you would have to think Gibbs and that team got enough fuel in it to make it through a potential overtime restart, but this is a lot of caution laps around a very long racetrack. About 2.45 miles. And he's still going to have to run at speed. But he can't just sit back and save fuel because he's going to have drivers on fresh tires behind him. And if anybody's got the car to hold guys off on old tires today, it's going to be Ty Gibbs. A lot of damage on the 20 of Nemechek. I think he was the car that actually sideswiped the 7 in the midst of Allgaier spinning. I noticed there was one car that did, and so the complete left side side panel on the driver's side door of the 20 of Nemechek is kind of sheared off, and I don't know if NASCAR is going to black flag him and force him to come to pit road and tape it up or not. And I think they are going to. So he's going to have to make those repairs, which is going to put him back in traffic even more, which is only going to allow Austin Hill to grow the points lead out even more himself. Yeah, there's definitely foam exposed. There was no way that they were going to be able to get back to green without them fixing that, because that more than likely would have caused a debris caution. So now Nemechek is going to go to the tail end of the lead lap, which will probably put him around 20th or 21st. He was running in 10th. And they're going to have to make this quick because I don't know if they got the one-to-go signal that time by the start-finish line or not. I mean, that's the problem you have of waiting until the last minute to do. I mean, they had the entire caution to try to make the change. I get trying to stay out there and keep your track position. Maybe they won't black flag you, but I mean, it was a good call, and you would assume that they would have had to expect that. Which is why I'm shocked that they did that, especially with that as smart of a crew chief as Jason Ratcliffe is. Probably, arguably, the best crew chief in the Xfinity Series garage today, and very shocked that they did not bring him in earlier. Pitsky Pete, thanks for tuning in. Bear bonded up, and we'll see. Yeah, they had to bring him back in. And he phoned John Hunter Nemechek is smuggling drugs. Gibbs, I would have to imagine, going to take the inside lane. He cut off Mayer in the last restart, and Mayer more than likely going to be lined up right behind him. Yep, that will be the case. They are going to go green this time by. They're working their way through the choose rule as we speak. So on the inside lane of row 1, obviously, will be Ty Gibbs. Austin Hill will be lined up to his outside. Inside of row 2 will be Sam Mayer. Outside, Cole Custer. Sheldon Creed inside of row 3. Josh Berry, who has been quietly in the top 10 all day, going to be on the outside and may have a shot at a top 5 finish. It's the highest running junior motorsport car behind Mayer, of course, with the 7 and the 9 getting caught up in that last incident. Will we stay green to the end? Based off of the running order and the timing and scoring, it looks as if Connor Mosack, Josh Berry would technically be the drivers on the freshest tires for the restart. Kligerman, who was scored 5th initially, has now been put back at 8th. That's unfortunate for him, but we'll see how many of those spots he can potentially get back. Coming to the finish. 2 laps, overtime restart. If this is going to be as wild as Road America, we're in for a fun one here over these next 2 laps. Can Ty Gibbs hold on older tires to the end? Or will somebody get around him? Who will it be? Will Sam Mayer make it on fuel? Will Gibbs make it on fuel? Pace car is in. Geico restart zone. Gibbs waiting. Gets the launch. Green flag back in the air. Gibbs, great launch into that first turn. Mayer's going to charge the corner hard. He's going to get into the 19. He cleans Gibbs out. Sheldon Creed is 3 wide for the lead as they get off the corner. Scrambling around. Door to door. Now into the S's. Creed's out in front. He's got damage on his right front fender. Mayer just absolutely cleaned out Ty Gibbs, and Mayer's actually in second right now, trying to go for the win still. He's smoking. He's got a fender rub on the left front after the contact with Gibbs. Will he get the last lap and get the win as well? Or will Sheldon Creed pull away to his first career Xfinity Series win? This is not what Kligerman needs as he made his way to 5th following the restart. Big slip there by Creed in turn 5. I think there's still oil on the track because Josh Berry has spun behind the 2. Berry's around from 3rd, and now it's between Mayer and Creed at the front of the field. Coming up on the white flag lap this time by. Mayer going wide. Looking underneath Creed. Creed slips the tires again in turn 7. He is way out of the groove, and Sam Mayer is out in front. Cars are still slipping around. I believe there's oil everywhere still. Oil on tires everywhere. Cars are spinning. Sammy Smith spins off turn 7. They've already gotten the white flag. This is the final lap. Now can Sam Mayer hold on? Shades of Watkins Glen 2012. Cars are slipping through the oil. And Mayer being the leader, can he be the one not to slip up? We'll find out this time by if Sheldon Creed's got enough to get back to him, and does Mayer have enough fuel to make it to the end? Because he has the least amount. Fender rub still on the left front. Will that hold up? Through the bus stop, now into turn 5. This is where Creed had his mishap on the last lap. Both in that same lane, right around the curbing on the bottom of the racetrack. Sam Mayer still clear by about 4 to 5 car lengths as they work their way into turn 6. Mayer cleaned out Gibbs on the restart, got his revenge from being cut off before, and now is a corner away from pay dirt and getting his second road course win in about a month in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Does he have enough fuel? Off turn 7, he's going to coast his way to victory. Sam Mayer wins at Watkins Glen. Sheldon Creed second, Parker Kligerman gets to 3rd, Ross Chastain 4th, and Connor Mosack rounds out the top 5. John Hunter Nemechek at 6th, Cole Custer 7th, Chandler Smith 8th, Alex Bowman 9th, Judd Burton 10th, Brandon Jones 11th, Brennan Poole 12th, Kyle Weatherman 13th, Austin Hill 14th, and Sage Karam rounds out the top 15. Justin Allgaier 16th, Ty Gibbs 17th, Sammy Smith 18th, Kyle Sieg 19th, and Josh Berry ends up 20th. Ryan Sieg 21st, Joe Graff Jr. 22nd, Daniel Hemrick 23rd, Alex LeBay 24th, Josh Bilicki 25th, Parker Retzlaff 26th, Kyle Busch 27th, Kaz Grella 28th, Brett Moffitt 29th, and Ryan Ellis finishes 30th, Anthony Alfredo 31st, Stanton Barrett 32nd, Stephen Parsons 33rd, Max McLaughlin 34th, Riley Herbst 35th, Josh Williams 36th, Jeremy Clements 37th, and Blaine Perkins rounds out the 38-car field. 21 cars finished on the lead lap. Sam Mayer led 8 laps today, wins the race. Ty Gibbs, who got turned by Mayer on that last restart getting into turn 1, finishes in 17th. He led 70 laps out of the scheduled 82 today. We ended up with 86 with the overtime finish. You'll get to hear from your top finishers, as well, of course, your race winner, Sam Mayer, here in a matter of moments in our brief post-race show for this NASCAR Xfinity Series Shriners Children's 200 at Watkins Glen. Average race speed today was 87.79 miles per hour. Of course, we went four laps past the scheduled distance with this one overtime attempt at a restart. Definitely didn't get the oil picked up quite like they would have hoped, and that could have potentially costed Creed a shot at the win as well. Mayer on the older tires, on fumes, is able to make it. He was the only driver who did not pit in the final 30-plus laps of the race from when they had their second to last caution. And he was the one that ends up winning on fuel mileage. And, of course, beating out the guy who dominated the race up to that point in the closing laps.
In the Xfinity Series, celebrating here at the Glen. And he'll dive into the arms of his crew.
Sam Mayer celebrating with his entire crew. And when he won at Road America, he talked about getting the monkey off his back, how the win should come easier. Although I don't know that this win came very easy. Had to do a lot of fuel saving, had to be very smart as he got very aggressive with some of the contenders out front, Ty Gibbs and Austin Hill. Man, congratulations, Sam. You win in overtime on low fuel. Take us through the restart to start.
Yeah, I mean, that first one, I got used up. Thought I had a good one there, but, man, I mean, all glory to God for this one, because we had to work our tails off for it. I mean, Marty on top of the box and everyone on pit road, we earned this one for sure. Feels good to have a car as fast as Xfinity 10G, no matter where you go and no matter what the situation is. And, I mean, to do it in front of all you Northeasterners feels really, really good. Thank you, guys.
We heard on the radio your frustration with Ty Gibbs, and then we saw you give it to him on that restart. That fair or foul, in your opinion?
Yeah, I wheel hopped it. That's unfortunate. I feel bad for doing that, obviously. You don't want to take out a Gibbs car like that or any car like that. But yeah, I mean, just trying to get another win in the Xfinity Series. I mean, I got a lot of catching up to do, and I mean, I was in there. I put my nose in there, and I mean, that's part of it. Fenders are fenders.
So you're just calling that an accident, a racing incident?
Yeah, that's an accident, but I think everyone can agree that it's okay for an Xfinity Series regular to win this race.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is Sam Mayer. Let's get the other perspective, Dylan Welch.
And Ty Gibbs going to officially be credited with, I believe it's a 17th place finish today. So Sam called that a racing incident. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you know, I think when you have to race out of desperation like that and you wheel hop and, you know, clean the leader out, it's just, you know, it's, I guess you can call the racing move in that book, but it just really sucks. You know, we had really fast Monster Energy. He gets us Toyota Supra. I really appreciate all the hard work from them, and we had a great time out there. Definitely wish that caution didn't come out there, but you know, it definitely sucks to get, you know, cleaned out there. So had a good time running these things this year.
When you lead as many laps as you lead today, 70, have a day like you had, how do you make your peace with the result and the result the way it happened?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's just it's a part of life and it's a part of racing, and you just get over it. And you know, when there's, you know, stuff like that happens, and you know, desperate moves like that happen, it's just, you know, it's just part of it, and you just gotta keep going. And we had a great car today. I appreciate all the hard work from my guys back at the shop, and we were really fast.
Do you feel like you need to go have a conversation with Sam?
I mean, I don't really know how much of a conversation you can, you know, really have with him, and in that situation. Like I said, we've been kind of grew up around racing each other. I think he has more starts than I do, and you know, this is his second win. So congratulations to him on the second win, and definitely wish I could have got my 13th there.
Tough way to end it for Ty Gibbs, the dominant car today at Watkins Glen.
Well, short, sweet, to the point. Wild finish, as predicted. I think anybody could have expected something crazy to happen there in those final 2 restarts. It did. Fuel mileage in that final stage. And maybe one of the better Xfinity Series races this season has come to an end. We still have one more race, which will take place tomorrow with the NASCAR Cup side. And that will be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we will go live with our pre-race coverage of that one. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you guys have not yet done so. And we will have our doubleheader tomorrow on the channel. Again, 2:30 for the live commentary stream for the Cup race at Watkins Glen. We'll go through pre-race predictions for that one. And then at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, we'll also be having a NASCAR 07 stream from Talladega on that next race of the season there. So back-to-back streams tomorrow, doubleheader. And hopefully you guys enjoyed today's live commentary, flag-to-flag coverage. And hopefully you'll come back again tomorrow afternoon. Fun race. Hopefully you guys, again, had fun. Have a good rest of your Saturday evening. And I'll see you back and better than ever again tomorrow afternoon.